Gary Payton and the Seattle Supersonics.
Sorry, Jay Peter with the Seattle Mariners and Jermaine Kearse.
Cliff Averill.
Dave Burleson. You're watching NorbCam.
NorbCam.
You're watching NorbCam.
All right, hey guys, what's up? This is NorbCam coming at you. Normally I don't do a live stream this late, just because most people probably aren't up this late at night. But I figured I'm still fresh in my makeup. Just got back from the viewing party, watching the Seahawks go down in the wild card, losing to the Cowboys. And man, it's a weird feeling. I just figure whoever's out there, let's just, this is a chance to vent, get a few thoughts off your chest. I know I've got a few. Want to hear your thoughts on the game. I haven't listened to anything post-game, so I have no idea if, what's being talked about out there. But I just wanted to kind of see what your guys' thoughts were on the game, see if we saw some of the same things, and just, see how it feels fresh from the loss. It's weird. It's a weird feeling. And I see you guys on the chat. Some of you guys are still up, wherever you guys are from. Daniel Kirk, Kyle. I guess we got a Cowboys fan in there. Jay So Wavy. I can't. Luke, Rams fan. Basic. Terrible game. Terrible offense. Luke. James Kelman. Great game overall. It was a good game. If you're just a fan of football, it was a good game. Anyway, if you guys want to call in, I'll take a few calls, see who's up for the fun of it. But you guys can just put your thoughts on the chat if that's what you guys want to do. I'll just kind of start by getting my initial some of my initial thoughts. So many things. It was a weird game from start to finish. Obviously, we started really terrible, and we didn't even barely have a first down in the first quarter. And we just could not get our offense going. And their front seven really was doing a great job shutting us down. And it was just like we just kept trying to get that running game going, which I appreciate the commitment to it because, sometimes you got to keep trying. You can't abandon what's been working for you. And at a certain point, when we took the lead and Russell Wilson ran it in on the read option for the touchdown, was pretty impressive because it was sort of showing how the running the ball was setting up these possibilities, and that read option worked because they kept running up the middle, and eventually once they got sold out on the run on the middle, the outside worked out. So, it's one of those things where there were opportunities that were made there. But then it just felt like at some point they needed to, especially earlier in the fourth quarter, maybe in the third, that, every time we did go deep, we had some amazing plays. Even the one at the end that led to our final touchdown that got us within 2 points. The offense was great when we would air it out, and it just seemed like we're so committed to the run that we just didn't take any shots downfield, more than I wish we could have, because he was so good when we did, Russell was. And I don't know, maybe it was just I felt a little bit more conservative than it needed to be. Maybe just still run it, but just open it up a little bit more. It felt like we were just throwing mostly to the backs, to the sidelines, but not as many passes downfield. And Russell just is amazing when he does it. It just felt like they kind of kept him on a leash. It felt like a little bit, but they fought to the end, which was nice to see. And boy, two things I think that stood out to me as to big reasons why we lost. Besides that, the Cowboys definitely showed up and made plays when they had to. The kicking situation, I think obviously we lost by 2. If Janikowski makes that field goal at the end of the first half, the same play that he hurt his pulled or whatever he did to his hamstring on, that kick was wide right. And if he makes that kick, it was long enough, he makes it in, it's a 3-point swing. Maybe we're up by 1 to end the game. I hate to put on the kickers, blame it on the kicker, but, in a game this close, every opportunity counts. And, we got the ball down the field. We got no points out of it, and that was unfortunate. I think some of the sting was taken off that miss because he got hurt on that play. So I think everybody was more reacting to the fact that he was hurt more than we're upset at him for missing the kick. And it's unfortunate because him being injured also resulted in the inability to have field goal opportunities. There was another one where we had to go for it, and it was within long field goal range, and we could have kicked it had we had that option, but we didn't. And just unfortunate timing to lose your kicker at that stage of the game. In a game this tight, every point matters. Every field goal opportunity matters. And now clearly it hurt us. I will bring up the officiating in this way because I am not one to blame the refs, because I feel like if you blame the referees, you're sounding like a loser who just doesn't want to take accountability for the real reasons why you lost. I was giving it to the refs that for the first really 2.5 quarters, they were staying out of the way of the game. They really just said, you guys play. You guys are going to get physical down the field, and we're going to let it go. Because I saw some plays where it could have gone pass interference against us and pass interference against them. And they just sort of, I kind of just decided or realized, oh, they're just going to let it play. They're just letting things go. And I thought that was great, you know. But at that point where right after we got the interception by KJ in the end zone, and that was pass interference on us, clearly. It looked like it in real time. It looked like it, obviously, in the replay. And it seemed like after that, it was almost like they had a call saying, man, you guys really messed up that play. You guys got to throw some flags Seattle's way because you really screwed that one up. Maybe that's just conspiracy theory. Maybe that kind of stuff never happens. But, man, it just seemed like after that holding call on Britt, real questionable if you ask me. The Fluker unsportsmanlike conduct, stupid. That was just reckless, idiotic play. And that doomed us on that drive. And then the following ensuing drive where the Cowboys took it and basically went down the field and eventually scored, it was aided by 2 pass interference calls. The one on, who was it? Was it McDougal? I can't remember now who was on. I think it was McDougal on the right side. That one was legit. But the one before that, KJ Wright, I mean, that wasn't even half the pass interference that the one he got the interception was on. He didn't get called for that one. And then he gets called because he gets a tiny little hook on the back. Again, it felt like they were going to make sure they got a call right against us on any kind of pass interference. And that kept the drive alive. And eventually the game put the game ahead 2 scores and made it almost, a real tough situation to try to come back from, which we did everything possible to come back and got within the onside kick. And that onside kick, oh my gosh, what the hell was that? Just didn't even have a shot. I was at least hoping he'd just kick it straight at the guy or something, try to hit him with the ball, like kick him right at his leg and watch the ball careen off. I saw a couple of games like that, actually high school games, where the kicker literally just kicked it as hard as he could against the guy who was right in front of him, and it bounced right off his leg back to the kicker, and he got the ball. Something like that at least would have been interesting, but that little pooch kick up in the air, I mean, it wasn't even interesting. So anyway, so a lot of little things like that. I mean, that's kind of my take on the game. The defense played really well. They didn't make the plays. Shaquille Griffin, 2 plays that I wish they could have back. The Shaquille Griffin letting Zeke go around the outside, just cheating inside, gave him that outside edge, which led to a score. That one was big. And then the Dak Prescott scramble, quarterback draw down the middle, eventually led to a score as well. 2 big plays that, you stop either of those, and it's possible they never get a touchdown. So those 2 were the backbreakers that really sucked. But it was a good game, back and forth. 4 lead changes, 5 lead changes? I don't know. A lot of it. Solstice Beauty by Jessica. What's up? It's the weird thing about losing, like this. It's just that feeling of emptiness when it's like suddenly it's just over. Somebody just turned off the switch and then it's done. And I really thought we were going to go at least one more round, And when you feel like it's just suddenly over, it's just a weird shock to your system because suddenly you're just it's all over. You're just done. Football's done. And now it's the long off season, watch other teams in the playoffs and watch the Super Bowl. And then, then you go to the draft and watch all the off season free agent moves and all that. And Seattle's got a lot of free agent things to work on and figure out. Russell Wilson, notwithstanding, his contract's going to come in the big conversation as well. But it's just that weird feeling that it's just over and 2018 is done. And now we got to look to 2019. Sucks. The worst part about it is when you lose, when you win, you get to watch all the highlights and everybody, in the playoffs, everything's focused on the 2 games, the few games that were played during the weekend. And you get to be part of that big conversation and all the shows focus on you. And it's all about that. And now we get to hear about how great Dallas was and, what they did and how Prescott was such a hero and Zeke Elliott, what a great running back and all that stuff. And then lost are all the great plays that we did. Granted, there weren't a lot, but man, we had some amazing ones. The Doug Baldwin toe tapper down in the left sideline that led to one of our scores. Tyler Lockett getting free. All that stuff gets lost and forgotten because now we're just a footnote. We're just a team that lost in the wild card round, and now everybody moves on to everybody else. So it sucks. But I don't know. Could be worse. I guess the nice part about it is it feels like next year we should be even better than this year, with a lot of young guys coming up, that really sets a good tone for things to come. And now it's just a matter of, which guys do we keep, a lot of positions on offensive line are going to change or I don't know, because they had Fluker's a 1-year deal. J.R. Sweezy was a 1-year deal. I'm not even sure what Fetty's situation is with his rookie contract. Russell Wilson's going to have a big extension coming up. So, Frank Clark is going to be a free agent unless they re-sign him. Other questions. So it's going to get interesting, but that's a topic for another time. See you guys chatting it up. What was it? Who said that? Nate, if you see this, say 12. All right, 12. Let's get phone lines are blowing up, so let's get some people talking here. All right, let's go to. All right, I'm gonna go. Whoops, I probably got this thing with everybody hearing each other. Let's fix that real quick. Where is it? I think I gotta go to mute. There we go. There we go. All right, let's try this. Let's go to Cameron in Portland. See if this is. Oh, hold on. I gotta open up my thing here. All right, is this working? Cameron, Portland, is that right?
Hello.
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah, you got it correct.
Cameron, how's it going, man?
Nothing. Just I'm just a bit disappointed.
Very disappointed. What were your thoughts on what you saw tonight?
Well, a lot of frustration was going through my head, and I thought the Seahawks defense could play it a little bit better, and the offense could play a little bit better, and then just kind of everything just kind of started to collapse. I could see it.
Yeah, I mean the defense for the most part, they forced a lot of 3-and-outs, a lot of punts, but there's a lot of things that you can say that were just one step short execution-wise. I mean they gave a big punt return again on one of those amazing kicks that was kicked down the 10-yard line. Then he returns it for 50 yards. Defense giving up a couple big run plays. Field goals. Onside kick, just little things that they add up. Just wasn't our year. We're just a couple things short, but maybe next year we can shore things up. But I don't know. What'd you think about the refs? I know a lot of people were bitching about the refs. Still, I'll complain about the refs, but
I would, when it comes to the refs, I would say I wouldn't blame the refs for this. Definitely not. But I felt like there was in the first half there was a bit of a lack of penalty flags, and then third and fourth were hitting flags for being thrown all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which means they weren't really paying attention first half. In the second half, they were really paying attention all the time.
Right. Yeah, it didn't feel consistent. It felt like in that one stretch of 2 series, the flags were everywhere, and
Yeah.
So it goes both ways. It's just you try to make a play, and in a game like this is so close, one play makes a difference. And when you make a play, like KJ Wright making the play, and he gets called for pass interference, you can't blame the ref. But when you are trying to make a play happen and the call goes against you, and to me it didn't look like that was a pass interference, that's the end of the play. I mean, that would have been 4th down. They would have punted the ball and we would have gotten the ball back.
Yeah.
And who knows what happens there. But instead, it kills off more clock and it leads to a touchdown, makes it almost impossible to come back 2-score situation with no timeouts. Totally game changer on one flag.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
But you can't blame the ref. But there's moments where, reminded me of the 49er game where it's like every time we had some play that would have set us up for a win, a flag got thrown. So not to say that there wasn't some truth to it, but man, some questionable, a couple of questionable ones. Yeah, it sucks.
I feel like Michael Dixon should have definitely should have kicked it straight towards the defender instead of just popping it straight up.
Yeah, I didn't get that at all.
Like, he basically kind of gave that to him.
Yeah, or just, kick it like, I know he's not a field goal kicker, but he could have just put on the tee and just said, just kick it to the side and try to pop that thing up. I just didn't understand the execution on that one. Clearly something they need to work on, but that's not his job, Normally it's the field goal kicker's job. But then again, Seabass was never good at the onside kick anyway. I think he maybe had 1 in his 20-year career, so, so that's kind of just one of those things. Hey, Solstice Beauty by Jessica, what's your area code so I can look you up in there? I'll put you on for sure. Anyway, disappointing, but we'll see what happens next year. But hey, man, thanks for the call. I'm gonna try to get to a few others here before the night gets too long. But we'll do more of these and talk about the off season, and we'll see what happens as we watch the other teams move forward in the playoffs. But at least they fought. At least they didn't just get their butts kicked. They did fight to the end, gave themselves a shot.
Yeah.
Just wasn't in the cards. But hey, man, thanks for calling and being a regular. I appreciate it.
No problem. Go Hawks.
All right, go Hawks. All right, let's see. Looking here. All right, let's see. Let's go to the East Coast here. Let's go to, actually, let me go to this one. It's been holding on for a while at the 804. What's up? How's it going? This is NorbCam.
How you doing?
I'm a little bummed, to be honest with you, but who is this?
My name is James. How you doing?
James, where are you calling from?
Richmond, Virginia.
Virginia, okay. So, what's on your mind?
I just feel like we ran the ball a little bit too much. I felt like we should have threw the ball through the air, and I feel like we would have won that game. I felt like they really stopped our run. I felt like we should have threw the ball a lot more often.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. It's you got to stick to the running game, not abandon it altogether. But at a certain point when you're going, man, it's just not happening. Let's open it up, because every time they did, they scored big money on it. So you just got to give Russell a chance. I felt like I had a leash on him too long. So I agree with you there. Would have been nice to see it aired out a few more times just to see what would have happened. I feel like they would have gotten a few out there, but just felt like we played real conservative.
Yeah, Tyler Lockett really impressed me tonight.
He impressed
really
all
bright
year.
spot for this team.
Yeah, all year. That guy was money all year. I think Russell had a perfect passer rating when it came to throwing to Tyler Lockett. And tonight, man, he had a couple of big catches. And Baldwin, too.
But in the draft, I feel like we need to draft a way bigger target, way bigger person.
We've been in the need for a tall receiver for God knows how long. I thought David Moore was going to be that guy. He was starting to become that guy. And then I don't know what happened to David Moore. It's a weird thing. He was making catches, and I thought he'd be on the rise, and all of a sudden he kind of fell off. Just suddenly just wasn't making catches anymore. And it was weird. It was after there's that one game against the Chargers. Remember, he had a couple opportunities to win the game or tie the game, and he dropped it. After that, it just seemed like it just wasn't the same. It's hard to explain, but David Moore is a little disappointing second half of the season.
Well, we'll get it next year. I think we're going to go to the NFC Championship next year, hopefully.
That would be great. Well, it'd help if we can get some, win our division. But, man, it's going to be tough going against those Rams for a while. Those guys are looking pretty darn good. We got to deal with them twice a year, every year. So they're the bully on the block, so we got to take them down first to maximize our chances. So I really wanted that third shot against them this year. I was really hoping that things would fall in place and we could play them. But I guess, alas, we won't get that shot.
I felt like the player of the game was definitely Jerry Jones in this one. Not gonna lie.
Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones?
With the refs? He definitely paid those guys off.
Oh, we're going conspiracy theory with the ref thing. I don't know. It was not, like I said, we had calls that went both ways. It was just that stretch right after the pass interference, no call on the interception by KJ. Suddenly the flags went flying. That's my only thing, Up to that point, there were definitely calls that, we got one of their punt returns for a touchdown call back. We had pass interferences I thought could have gone on us, didn't get called. Anyway, I thought it was pretty fair up to a point, and just after that, it just kind of sucked in that fourth quarter. But I don't know. It makes you wonder. Makes you wonder if Jerry Jones gets on his phone. Hey, what are you guys doing down there? Screwing us over. We got to get 2 points on this thing and win this thing because we're favored, man. Can do your job. I don't know. Not happy that he won. My brother-in-law's a big Cowboys fan, and now I'm gonna have to listen to his chirping. So, just really want.
Hey, thank you for answering my call.
You bet, man. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it. Go Hawks. All right, I'm gonna get Jessica. Let's see. I believe this is Jessica at the 970. Hopefully, I got this. No, she's 907. 907. This has got to be Jessica right up here. Let me see. I have this right. Jessica, is this you?
Hi, how are you doing, Norb?
It is Jessica, right?
Yeah, it's Jessica.
First time calling. I see your smiling icon on all your comments all the time. And I was wondering when you would call in sometimes. So tonight's, unfortunately, you called on a very sad
I
night.
Just filled around a little bit, get the feelers out.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to hear from you. Thank you for being active on my channel and everything like that. But, man, I wish you could have called under more happier circumstances. But how do you feel about this game?
It was such a frustrating game. Obviously, I felt they played really well. It's really hard to, try and not get frustrated with all the penalties. And there was one specific penalty with including KJ Wright. I think it was like a pass interference one, and I just felt like that one was like super uncalled for. I was getting upset after that point, and it was just no coming back. So I don't know. You ever get that feeling like when something happens in a game and it's just like it's just one after another, and it's just no turning back, and it's just they just can't get the momentum picked back up.
Yep.
I don't know. I just kind of feel like that. We just got to that point where it's, oh gosh, this doesn't feel like it's going to happen. But and you can never give up because Seahawks are always the team that can come back at the last few minutes and, make something happen. So, but, the season was amazing. I felt like everyone just didn't believe that they were going to make it far. And yeah, I'm proud of them. And one thing I want to say is thank you so much for always posting and, always sharing. And you dedicate so much time to the Seahawks and the 12s. And I really appreciate that. About you.
Well, thank you. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun for me, just as a fan. But just to have people like you, who interact, share the same passion, it's fun to do. If nobody watched, it wouldn't be very inspiring. But the fact that you guys enjoy, what I put out there and participating, this interactive stuff is great. Just not too many years ago to think that I could be doing like basically a call-in show talking about Seahawks is pretty awesome. So it's great. I love it. It's just I wish we could be talking about the next round of the playoffs right now, but instead we got to talk about the draft and free agency and all that stuff. So, but thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate your support. And yeah, it's awesome. So where do you live? Where are you from?
I'm in Fairbanks, Alaska. It's
Alaska,
really cold up here. We're all
that's
freezing.
right. So you're way up there.
Yeah, it's so cold. Yeah, in
That's
the middle
right.
of Alaska.
Well, maybe one of these days you'll be able to make it down to a game or come down to see one of our
Yes.
Seahawk get-togethers down here.
Definitely. I have huge plans for it. But you know what? Here's the thing is that we have a lot of great potential to make it again, and we will do it again. You know, I was so proud of, you know, Tyler Lockett coming back from his injury and
Yes.
having an amazing season. And Chris Carson, you know, he got injured, and then it was like, oh, great. But,
Right.
you know, him coming back and then having just the most amazing season ever, he was just like reminding me of Beast Mode back, you know, part 2.
Yeah.
But, you know, after seeing this awesome season of Bobby Wagner and just Russell Wilson, you know, able to, you know, get a little bit of a break. I mean, it was just an amazing season. And, you know, it sucks that we lost today, and it sucks the season's over, but I'm also really pumped up for next season already, just based on what I saw.
I feel the same way. You know, and the thing is, if we get spoiled. We've been spoiled here. The Seahawks have been in the playoffs, 6 out of 7 years, you know, so you get to a point where it's like when you don't make it to the Super Bowl, it's like a disappointment, right? But, you know, in all reality, there's some teams who haven't sniffed this kind of success for how long? And the fact that on a year that we shouldn't even have gotten close to this, as far as the experts were concerned, the fact that we actually got into the dance and got to enjoy this playoff game is still so much better than just having another one of those seasons where you want to get to the end and get it over with, you know, i.e. Cardinals, San Francisco, Jets, teams like that. So, you know, we're fortunate that we have a team that is always in it. And, you know, making the playoffs and losing the first round is still better than not making the playoffs at all. And because just even getting to go through and enjoy the ups and downs and the biting your nails and hoping to still pull it out at the end of the game. I mean, it's about the journey, and these games are still fun, even if you don't make it all the way to the end. Because in the end, there's only one team that's going to win it all. Everybody else is just trying to get there, and you're all just trying to, you know, stay in as long as possible. But unfortunately, we had an early exit. But anyway, well, thanks. I appreciate your positive attitude, and hopefully we can talk some more down the line.
Listen, Norb, I'm still rolling. I'm still reeling from that Chiefs game, you know?
Oh, the Chiefs game. I just watched that game. I rewatched it from my DVR. That was such an awesome game. And
it was.
Yeah, I mean, moments like that. I mean, that's what makes the season so exciting, is the fact that we get to have those types of games where, you know, just see amazing plays. And we're one or two amazing plays short today. So,
you know, it would be really nice to, you know, have a little bit more confidence in the team as far as, you know, them beating the Chiefs, but then losing against, you know, 49ers, just, you know, some big, amazing highs, big, huge lows. So maybe that's just something they're going to work on, obviously. But I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for doing everything you do. I love your parody videos. I mean, I'm really going to kiss butt here, but you're just like, I don't know. I feel like you're my big brother, and you're just awesome. You know, you're out there, you know, putting out your videos, and you're just a huge fan. I just really appreciate everything you do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate you saying that. So, I'll keep doing it. I just keep watching, and, you know, let's keep doing this thing together. All right.
Listen, go Hawks. They're amazing. They're awesome. Okay, we'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, Jessica. Have a good one. Go Hawks.
All right, bye.
There's some positive sunshine. You need to have a little positive attitude. You know, you can't be all just, you know, everything sucks, you know. So let's keep this ball rolling. Let me go to Brandon, another regular over in Minneapolis. Brandon, how you feeling?
What's up, Norb, man?
You sound like I feel. I'm trying to keep it up, but man, inside it's just feels like something died.
Man, it was just disappointing, man. We had such a great season, and it just had to fall like that. It just sucks.
It sucks. You know, there's times like this when I wonder, is it better to get your butts kicked and just get blown out and go, wow, we had no chance, or that feeling where it's like you're just this close? It's almost worse when you're so close.
And, you know, we actually had a lot of positives going out of this game. That's what I like about this game, too, because we could compete with one of the top teams in the NFC and the Cowboys. They're one of the top teams because of their defense and, you know, Ezekiel Elliott. So we've proven that. And we've proven all season that we're actually a somewhat of a contender when we're fully healthy, when we have our guys. Like, if we had Sebastian in, we probably would have kicked a field goal. I'm not talking one at half, but The one where
later on. Yeah, we had to go
it.
for it. Yeah, because we had no kicking. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm glad that he got us closer, but it just really sucks that the game has to end like that. That final drive was impressive for sure because Russell was they just kept running the ball, and when they ran it on 2nd and 18, I was like, what are you doing? Pass the ball, because we were backed up in our own territory, and that just didn't really make sense to me. So conservative play calling, not letting Russell do what he does. It was still a good game though, don't get me wrong. It just didn't end the way we wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I hate to live in the past, but man, I miss Hauschka. That dude was so clutch, had made onside kicks, was super reliable, and we let him go because couple $1 million. And we had to go through the Blair Walsh project and this, and it's like, man, if we just signed that dude, who knows what would have happened the last couple of years. But hey, it is what it is, and
I really think we're gonna move on from Sebastian because his leg has been really he's been really messing up that leg earlier in the season in games. So I think we'll move on from him. And there's actually a lot of free agent kickers out there this offseason, so we could look for a few. But Norb, the positive thing going on in this game is that we finished our season with a good record. We were 10-6, and we weren't even projected to get 8 wins.
Yeah.
So we proved a lot of people wrong. And we proved to people today that we are here to stay and that we will have more playoff seasons to come, I feel like. Well, if the run game gets going again next season, Will Dissly's coming back too.
Will Dissly's going to be
free
huge,
agents that we get.
Yeah. I think if we can get one real good big target wide receiver that we haven't had in so many years, and obviously continue to shore up spots that we need to on the I think D-line could use. And
Norb, one more thing. I really wish we could have kept Sheldon Richardson, man. Our run defense would have been a lot better. If we would have kept him, man, I feel like we would have won more games.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That was a lot of money. And remember, we had we were out of money. We couldn't afford to pay a lot of these free agents, which is why we had to let some of them go. But anyway, we got other big free agency questions next year.
It was a great season overall, though. And
yeah, it was.
I appreciate you coming on YouTube again and doing all this like you have the past lot season. So, I appreciate you, man. And I appreciate you taking my calls a lot and me and you interacting, man. It's been a lot of fun this season.
Yeah,
I hope we can do it next season.
Oh, yeah, we definitely will. We'll have a lot of things to talk about during the off season. But, yeah, man, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. And,
yes, man, no problem.
Go Hawks, man. Go Hawks. All right. Let's see. Keeping it moving. Let's see who's been on here for a while. All right, let's go to the 509. What's up? You're with NorbCam. Who's this? Where you calling from?
Hello?
Yes. Who's this?
This is DJ.
DJ. What's up, man?
Hey. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this game. I was literally in shock that the Cowboys of all teams beat us. Literally, I crawled up into like a little ball and just stared motionless at the wall.
I know how you feel. If I was probably in my house by myself and not in a big casino with 200-something people, I probably would have done the same thing. But yes, weird feeling.
And I was also so hyped before this game. Like I was listening to your I'm in NorbCam's body, a Freaky Friday song, and I was listening to your greatest season. It's the most wonderful time of your song. I was listening to your music and just jumping up and down with excitement, getting ready for this game. I was so excited I couldn't believe it. And then now I'm in pure disappointment that after I'm done here, I'm probably going to cry myself to sleep.
Well, that's why a lot of why I'm doing this tonight. I'm surprised how many people are calling in, because I thought people would be like in sleep or in bed. Apparently, you guys are like me, depressed. But it was a chance to kind of, vent, get a few, just we can all kind of have a little crying self-pity party here.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a couple of trash talkers in the thread, but that's all good. This is, everybody can do it. Hit them while you're down. I understand. But yeah, I know it's hard to pinpoint. It's not like Super Bowl 49 where you look at the one play and go, definitively we blew it in that one play. It's like several moments that you go, if he makes that field goal, if he doesn't get hurt, if they didn't throw pass interference, if we would have stopped that run on the right side, I mean, every one of those plays could have changed the course of the game.
Yes.
But,
for example, there were 2 times where there was the return by Lockett where he got tripped up, and if he didn't get tripped up there, that probably would have been a bigger gain or almost a touchdown. And then there was another one where there were like 2 of them where he almost broke for touchdowns.
Yeah, right. I mean, there's little plays, even like the one where, the stupid penalties, the fluker hitting that dude. That was just. That's like shooting yourself in the foot, There's another play, a swing pass to Chris Carson that he dropped. Not that it was a major play, but it would have given us probably 5 or 6 yards and made the next down more, more doable. But,
I just don't understand it. We got the pick in the end zone, and then we get the free yardage, and then we just threw it away like it was nothing. Cause
holding and unsportsmanlike conduct. That's 25 yards and penalties right there. Hard to overcome.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be a whiner or anything like that, but I do believe that the refs screwed us on some plays. Not all of the plays, but just there were plays where the refs screwed us. Like there was a missed face mask.
Yeah, Russell Wilson on a sack. Yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah, and then like you mentioned, the pass interference and all that other stuff in the later game.
But look at it this way: if we had won that game. They'd be talking about. They'd be going, look at the no call on KJ Wright in the end zone. That should have been pass interference. That would have changed the game because they were driving to score. I mean, like I said, it goes both ways. It wasn't like some one-sided, they were out to get us kind of situation. So, again,
I try not to be a complainer like that, but it's just hard to look at it like that. So,
yeah. Yep, that's good. A lot of questions in the offseason, but the fact that our rookies are the new guys getting lots of experience, I mean, that bodes well for the future, for sure.
Is it possible that we can sign or that we can have 2 kickers on the roster next season?
Oh yeah, people have had 2 kickers. I mean, it's kind of a waste of space to have to sign 2 guys to do it, but I've seen it.
We have practice squad players that don't even get playing time this season. They're just wasting up space. I'm like, why can't we just get rid of one and fill it with the kicker that we could use in case?
Well, practice squad is one thing, but you got the 53-man roster, and you've got to you got to keep that to a certain number. So if you have 2 kickers, that means there's one guy that's not going to be doing something else.
Not saying that if we did get rid of it, that this would happen, but we have backup quarterbacks that don't get used because Russell Wilson never gets injured.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I bet you if you ask most Seahawks fans, who's our backup quarterback, they'd be like, because you never see him. It's Brett Hundley, by the way.
Yeah.
But the draft will be interesting because we're missing a few rounds of draft picks because of some of the trades we did. But I'm sure we'll trade down to get a few picks along the way. But we'll get into the draft discussion, another time. But
I can't wait I can't wait for the draft.
It's always an exciting time because everybody feels like hope is being restored. We're going to get our next future, whatever, coming up. But,
yes.
Dallas played well. I don't see them getting very far from here.
I don't. Depends on who wins tomorrow. I feel like either way, Dallas is going to lose, whether it's the Eagles or Bears.
I mean, they did beat the Saints, so they have that in their mind that they've beaten the Saints before. Of course, that was at home. They're going to be on the road next time if they do play the Saints. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out tomorrow.
I don't know.
But all right, well, thanks for the call, man. I'm gonna try to keep getting other people on here so they can chime in.
I can't wait. I said I can't wait for your next video.
I don't know what it's gonna be, but I was hoping to do something for the divisional round, but alas, that will have to wait.
If you need it, like I don't know, I saw something in one of your description boxes that said that hit you up if I wanted to be in a video or something like that.
Oh yeah, every once in a while I'll do something where if I do some kind of like the most wonderful time of the year video I did, I kind of put that out and said, hey, here's the lyrics. If you guys shoot yourselves, I'll put you into the video. So that's what I did. That's how I got a lot of the clips of these different people from around the country and stuff. Well, so I might do something like that again. Yeah, we'll try that again.
I'd like to try.
Maybe a hype video before the season starts. Get all the 12s involved. That'd be kind of cool. All right. Well, thanks for the call, man. I'm gonna try to grab a few others here. People have been holding on, but we'll talk again soon. All right, go Hawks.
Yeah, go Hawks.
Oh, man. A lot of you guys still on here. It's amazing. Okay. I'm going to go to the farthest number that hasn't been on in a while. Okay, let's go to the 937. Waiting a long time. What's up? Who's this and where are you calling from?
Yo, all right. It's Big Ben calling from Ohio.
All right, Big Ben from Ohio. What's up?
All right, so I'm not that much of a Seahawks fan, but I do respect them. But I have a question, right? My cousin's like a big Seahawks fan, you know, and I always ask him this question. He doesn't ever give me like an unbiased answer.
Okay. Wait, let me ask you real quick. Who are you a fan of?
The Colts.
You're a Colts fan. Okay. All right. All right. What's your question?
Andrew Luck or Russell Wilson, straight up.
Oh, which is the better quarterback?
Yeah, they came from the same draft class. You know, the conversation used to be RG3 or Andrew Luck, and it's kind of shifted from like Andrew Luck to Russell Wilson. How you feel?
Right. Well, if you're going to ask me, I'm of course getting my totally unbiased opinion, which is I think Russell Wilson. But to Andrew Luck's credit, you know, he hasn't had a lot to work with. He's been dealing with injuries, and he's been playing really damn good football lately. So he looks pretty good right now. I wouldn't want to be facing him in these later rounds. But right now, if they're both up in the air and I could just grab one, I would still grab Russell Wilson. But that's just
Russell Wilson. And also, I've been thinking because, like, biggest weakness on the Seahawks, what is it? Offensive line, maybe?
Not this year. This year, the offensive lines been pretty good. Probably, I'd say D-line, just because they've given up so many more rushing yards, than ideal. And, I think the D-line probably needs some serious attention in the draft. So that would probably be one of the areas. Not the offensive line is perfect or anything, but, I think the D-line is going to need some addressing.
Where's Pete going in the draft? What do you think?
Man, so hard to call it because those guys never do what you're expecting them to do. But running back, I think we're solid at running back. I think it's got to be D-line. Probably if offensive line, they don't re-sign some of those guys, they'll be looking for more offensive linemen. And they might have to start looking at linebacker too, just because, there might be guys, KJ and Bobby been there a long time, and
get you a maniac.
Future.
Darius Leonard.
What's that?
I said get you a maniac like Darius Leonard.
Yeah, that's true. So
just want to ask. I appreciate you answering my call.
All right, no problem, man. Thanks. Good luck with your Colts the rest of the way. I'm actually rooting for those guys out of the AFC. I would not be disappointed if the Colts went out there and just anybody but the freaking Patriots. All right.
It's hard to root against luck.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it.
All right, bro.
All right. Let's go to DJ in Cal. He's been waiting a long time. DJ, what's going on, man? How you doing?
What's up? Hello?
You're on.
Hello?
Yeah, you're there. How do you feel?
That was rough. That was very rough.
Yeah, that was rough.
That was just very rough. That game.
Yeah, it was hard to watch at times.
I know. I was so disappointed. I mean, a lot of people on Twitter were like, why didn't you just run it? Why are you throwing it this late in the game?
I know. It's tough because when it's like if you keep throwing, they say, why aren't you running the ball like at the beginning of the year? And then when you keep running it, why don't you throw the ball? It's like, it's just finding that balance, But I agree. I wish we went to the passing game just a little bit more, and especially down the stretch, in the late in the third quarter and the fourth quarter. When the run wasn't really well. Just change it up a little bit.
I just knew, though, that we weren't going to have enough talent to win the Super Bowl, though.
It would have been rough to try to get past, New Orleans for sure. The Rams, I wanted that, even though, the odds would be in their favor, I wanted to have at least a shot, a third shot at those guys, because we've played them close every time.
Yeah. I think that I was actually at the Seahawks-Niners game. That reminded me so much of that today.
Oh, the one down there. I know it did. It did. It felt like we never quite got our rhythm going. Our run game wasn't great, and every time something good happened, it felt like well, in the end there, the penalties kind of just killed us. So it was a pretty penalty-free game. The first half, there was hardly any penalties, and the second half, it was just like all came out at the same time.
In the draft, though, I'm already looking ahead. The player that I want the most is I either want a defensive tackle or a defensive end or a safety or a cornerback. Those are the positions I want.
I know. I feel like I'd go DN before corner. I mean, I feel pretty good about our secondary, but I feel like we need more beef on the line and pass rush. It depends if we're going to keep Frank Clark. Yeah, give up too much.
I haven't been looking into free agency that much this year, though. Yeah, I've been looking more towards the draft.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how much cap space we're going to have to play with, but, we got that Russell Wilson contract extension looming. So.
I know. I don't know. I think we're going to have to pay rosters. But which coaches do you think should be fired? And
which coaches should be fired? Wow, you're already looking to the coaching firing. I don't know. I'm not necessarily convinced that we need to fire anybody per se. I mean, I thought the O-line improved. I did not hate the offensive coordinator. In terms of generally the plan, just in this game, I'd nitpick a few things they do differently, but I would say that I've completely feel like he needs to go. One bad game does not define the entire season for a coach. So.
All I wanted in the playoffs was just to beat Dallas, and then everything else would just be icing on the cake to me. And, Dallas, I've never liked them. I used to like them, actually, but ever since, I found out about, Jerry Jones, I've never liked Dallas.
You really like him or don't like him?
I don't like him.
Oh, yeah, me neither. Me neither. I really wanted to beat those guys because, Dallas just annoys me.
I was hoping for a repeat when I was at Emerald Downs because we went to Dallas and we won that game. I was hoping for a repeat.
Right. Yep. I know. Could have had them, but it wasn't definitely not our best. Not our best game.
The 3rd and 14 scramble by Dak was what pissed me off the most.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they couldn't spy him. Or they couldn't keep an eye on him, and it just got loose.
I know. They made plays. They made more plays. Aided by a couple of penalties at certain times, but they made plays. So, well, on to the draft. We'll talk about that more and see where things are headed. But, oh well.
I would definitely want to take this guy from Florida named Ja'Kai Polite. I think that guy would be perfect fit on our team.
Wow. Well, all right, man. Well, thanks for calling. Your phone's a little hard to hear. I don't know why. It sounds like you're talking into a tin cup. But anyway, we'll talk again soon. And thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. All right, take it easy.
Bye.
Go Hawks. All right, let me go to, I think I got international call. If I'm not mistaken, I see a 6-1 code. Let's see if this is from Australia. Is this right? Is this the Australian caller?
How's it going, Nob?
It's not?
Yep. How's it going, bro?
You are. Hey, I'm doing all right. You are calling from Australia?
Yeah, man.
Where? Are you in Sydney or what part of Australia do you live?
West Coast, buddy.
Okay. Well,
man, first off, can I just quickly say that kid that actually asked you what was your favorite quarterback in comparison to Russ and Andrew Luck? I mean, what kind of moment asks a Seahawks fan
if you prefer another quarterback over your own quarterback.
I know,
that was
but
a funny one.
That is pretty funny. That's a little bit of a loaded question. But hey, it's a fair question to ask.
Hey, oh well.
But yeah,
That's
so
all right, man. What did you think of the game, man? I'm pretty livid over it, to be honest. I thought that there was so much opportunity to win, like so many opportunities to win, and I don't know. I'm hurting. I don't know about you, but I'm hurting after that game.
Yeah. Well, it's frustrating because there were so many different things you could look at, and it felt like this sort of trickle-down effect of different things just going wrong and building, and it wasn't just one thing. It was a bunch of different things. Some of it was play calling. Some of it was some penalties. Some of it was the kicker, what happened to the kicker. Some of it was some bad defensive moments. And we just didn't make enough big plays.
In anticipation, kind of wondering if Dixon was going to come out and try and kick a field goal. I mean, I was kind of looking forward to it, even though you could see him kind of hook it left. That would have been great.
Oh yeah, I mean,
was on the phone.
I assume you're a Michael Dixon fan because he's from there. Did you know Michael Dixon before he came to the Seahawks?
Yeah, he used to play for the Sydney Swans. He never really got drafted all the way through. But then I saw his transition to was it Texas A&M when he got his college opportunity. So I was following him, and when I saw the Seahawks drafted him, I was a little bit surprised. At the same time, I was kind of excited. But yeah, I mean, he's a good punter. I think it's
Oh, he's a fantastic. I mean, it's great. His first, I mean, he's a punter. That's his first and foremost his job. He's a punter and he's a holder, and but he's an amazing punter. He makes the Pro Bowl in his first year, and the guy could just kick the ball out of the galaxies. I mean, the guy is awesome. Almost kicked it too deep. In fact, led to a 53-yard return. Kicked it so far we couldn't cover the punt. But I thought the guy's great. He just needs to work on his onside kick technique because I don't know what the hell that was.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. I think, in that given situation, you got to give it to him. I mean, he's not a kicker. He's a punter, as you just said. And the fact that he got put on the spot to, do the, big onside kick with no, first year in the league, I think it's a little bit unfair to put that sort of, pressure on him. But, yes, he should have been practicing to do that. But, I mean, that game all came down to just Chris Carson just running up the middle. I don't know about you, but I literally saw a brick wall maybe after the first quarter, and I just saw him go go right in just straight down the same lane, every single attempt, first down, second down. Russell might throw it on the third, but for all of the run plays, it was just straight down the middle. And I think that was one of the big impacts that kind of made this game go the way it did. I mean, that was a great interception by Wright towards the end. But I don't know. I mean, I think that game we should have won 100%. I mean, I know it's that's how football goes. I mean, God, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of my year now.
I know. That's the worst part. It's just all of a sudden this weekly thing we get to watch is gone now. It's like a TV show, and suddenly it's over, and it's like, okay, we won't have another show until next season. What? I gotta wait months before I have my entertainment. This sucks. Oops.
I'll be the exact same thing in draft day. No, this is our year, boys. This is the year. What do you think about Penny? That's a good question I want to ask you. I was watching you in that draft party. I think late last year or something.
Oh yeah.
And what do you think about Penny?
You remember my reaction? Yeah, my reaction was pretty much everybody else. It was like, in the first round, the Seahawks draft Rashad Penny. And we're like, who? Yeah, it was.
God damn it, fire!
Well, I'm not gonna mail it in like it was a complete bust at this point. I mean, the guy shows some moments. Obviously, Chris Carson's just the guy right now. But the thing is, Chris Carson gets if Carson gets injured, if Carson were to get injured, all of a sudden, you just have nothing behind there, and Penny could be the guy. It's just everybody else has been great. Mike Davis has been great, and he's had his moment too. But the other two have outshined him, I guess. But who knows? The way Chris Carson runs, I don't know how long he's going to last. I mean, that guy is just a bruiser. So we'll see if he can keep it up.
Yeah, he really does remind you of Lynch in a way, doesn't he? He's got that power to him.
He's not as bulky and big as Lynch is, but I like the fact that he looks to make contact. So he's not one to shy away from contact. He kind of delivers it, and he never goes down at first contact. He's always fighting for more. And there was one play that I really admired today. He got one where it looked like he was going to get hit for a 2 or 3 yard loss, and instead he kept fighting and he got 4 yards out of it. So that's like a 7-yard gain that he really never should have had. And he's done plays like that all year where you thought, oh, he's going down. And like, oh, no, he's not. He's going to get it, whether it's a touchdown or just getting, 3 or 4 yards out of it. And that's what I love about him. He just doesn't go down easy like a lot of running backs do. So hopefully he can keep going. I'm just glad that, nobody suffered any major injuries. Like, I'm kind of glad I looked down at the time when that, who was it, number 17 on the Cowboys got that nasty leg injury. I heard it's Theismann-esque, but right at the moment they showed the replay, I was struggling with my YouTube stuff. In fact, my channel's stream is
I was watching that.
The stream is like going off and on. What the heck?
And I saw it just,
the stream is a little
and
funky here too.
Like, ooh, that's broken, that's gone, and I was like, oh.
Oh yeah. Anyway, I can't watch that stuff. That just gets, it's nasty. So poor guy. Felt bad about that. But anyway, luckily most of our guys, other than Sebastian Janikowski, suffered the worst injury, I think, of the night. That clearly that's I don't know, that might be the last of it for him, period. I mean, he's an old guy, but he strained his kicking leg pretty bad, so I don't know if he'll be coming back. I doubt he'll be with the Seahawks.
Still better than Blair Walsh, though, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely better than Blair Walsh. He had a pretty good season overall. He missed some, but he made some game winners too. So definitely better than last year. But I don't know. They might be looking for somebody next year. Well, hey, man, thanks for the call, man. It's great to hear from somebody way on the other side of the world.
We should have run the ball on the 1 yard line, yeah? No worries.
Well, nobody could say we didn't run the ball this time. This was funny. It's like when you run, they say you should have passed.
Well,
when you pass, you should have run.
What happened. That was the most disgusting way to lose the Super Bowl. And I needed to speak to someone that would appreciate and understand. God, it should have been an offensive one.
Well, the Super Bowl, I'm not as mad as the Super Bowl for sure. All right, thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it.
Good chatting with you, man.
All right, you too. Go Hawks.
Peace.
Nothing worse when you have the face paint on here and then you get an itch like right now. Oh, I just want to scratch it. I'll keep going. You guys are hanging out. I'll keep going. Let's see who's been on the longest. All right, this has been a long time here from the 970. Yo, what's up? Who's this? Where are you calling from? Hello. You're on. This is NorbCam. Who's this?
Hey, NorbCam. I'm Bennett from Colorado.
From Colorado. And what was your name again?
Bennett.
Bennett. What's on your mind, man?
Yeah.
Tough loss.
Well, I was pissed with those two pass interference calls at the end that kind of gave the Cowboys that touchdown to win the game.
Yeah.
I
had an issue with one. The other one I was okay with. The other one was KJ. That was bad. I didn't like that call.
Yeah. And we kept trying to run it, and I understand. We've been running really great all season and all, but you got to understand at one point, it's not going to work. And we have all these great receivers in Baldwin and Lockett and all these other guys, and Russell Wilson's so dynamic that I think we should have thrown it more and we could have won.
You might be right. We'll never know, but I agree. I think they should have let Wilson do his thing. Just kind of go into like a hurry-up mode earlier because, look what he did in the last 40 seconds of that drive. He went down the length of the field, scored a touchdown in like 43 seconds or something. And it's like, where was that all game?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been nice to see earlier, but I know they were trying to commit to the run, maybe hoping that Carson would break through, but he just never did. He never got that big signature breakout run that maybe you thought he might. If he keeps hitting that wall, eventually it's going to crack and break open. Never quite broke through.
Yeah, and I guess if we're being honest, there was a great chance that we would have lost our next playoff game, because it was the Rams or the Saints, no matter what.
Yeah, but I know that's kind of a sour grapes look at it. I was about to say the same thing, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna say that because that sounds like somebody who's playing the sour grapes card. Like, yeah, you know, I'm okay that we lost because we probably would have lost the next game anyway. I wanted to play that next game. I don't care if the Saints would have kicked our butts. I wanted the rematch with the Rams. Would have probably been tough either way, but just one more game.
Do you think we could have beat?
What was that?
And it's just from, you know, an 0-2 start, and then you go 10-6 into the playoffs. It's impressive just in that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think to make the Super Bowl would have been a tough deal.
Yeah.
You know, given everything that we have to work with. You know, we're not loaded like the Rams are. You know, and, there's certain areas that still need some shoring up. But hey, considering what we had to work with and what we lost, still pretty impressive. But, you know, the fact that we're not bitching about the offensive line right now is a pretty good sign, you know, because that has been the topic of conversation all year long. The line wasn't great tonight, gave up some sacks, couldn't really move the ball. But maybe it's not so much a discredit to our offensive line as it is a credit to the Cowboys defensive line, because they have been really good and they've been playing, you know, high level for 8 out of 9 games or whatever their streak was that got them here after starting off 3-5. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, give them credit. They're playing some good ball right now. So.
And what's that? I heard some sort of statistic that like basically it's like not very many 5 seats end up in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But, you know, I still thought, you know, anything's possible and anybody can beat anybody on any specific day. But
oh, yeah. No, again, it wasn't like we got blown out 31 to nothing or something. We were one play away, and it came down to one play at the end if we had gotten the onside kick. But you back up, every one play could have changed the game. Again, Sebastian Janikowski makes a field goal at the end of the first half. We're up by 3. Maybe we win the game by 1, you know. I mean, if you just do that math, but... Again, you can go a million routes and say, well, if this happened, you know, it could have changed everything. But that's how close it is when it's a game like this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, we fought. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of looking back at, you know, what could have won the game, you have to look back and say, what can we do to win our next game?
Yeah, well, you got to look back because you got to look and see what you made mistakes on. We clearly made some mistakes. And you got to fix those things. Special teams have been a little disappointing this year. Too many big punt return, kick returns.
Yeah.
You know, the blocks. We didn't have any blocks this week, but last weekend's, you know, 2 block punts. I mean, it just seemed like the punt. We have a great punter, but the team around it has had some not so great moments, and I don't know why that is. But we got to fix that for sure. But
yeah,
you know, yep, I'm sure we'll. Well, a lot of changes coming up here, but I expect a discussion about the Russell Wilson contract is going to come up big, you know, in the offseason.
Oh, yeah, hopefully.
You know, but
I'm sure he'll get an extension.
Yeah, that's my feel. I mean, the guy's a winner, and you know, just got to keep building around him, and you know, he's going to get us back there one of these days. But all right, well, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
You betcha. Thanks a lot. Go Hawks. All right. Let's see. Let's go to the. Let's see. Hold on a second. Oh, I got to go to RO in San Francisco. Our resident 49er fan. Well, now you could finally call and gloat, talk trash. Since the 49ers and the Seahawks are officially out of the 2018 season. No, actually, you've been pretty cool. You've been pretty cool. But what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think it's worth talking smack considering the season that you guys had and the season that we had. Man.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they even exceeded your prediction. Oh, yeah, congratulations on getting a perfect prediction record for the regular season.
Well, thank you. Perfect in terms of the numbers. I didn't call every game perfectly, but it worked out to where I got 10-6.
I'm pretty sure you thought they were going to get the 6th seed.
Yeah, well, even when I said 10-6, I looked at that and I was going, man, I might be pushing it here because we're talking about wins over Green Bay, Vikings, Chiefs.
all of which they beat.
Panthers, and in November, I was thinking, in November, if we don't beat a bunch of these teams, I mean, there's no chance. And we managed a way to do it. So, they definitely rose to the occasion, at that point of the schedule and made it possible. But, we got in. It was a quick exit, but, it was fun to at least have made it in.
Yeah.
Man, what's up with your phone, man? It sounds like a dog is chewing on the end of your phone. I've been hearing this.
Yeah, I don't exactly have a good phone.
Well, quit fidgeting with it. Hold it still so it doesn't sound like I'm talking through a potato chip bag.
Yeah, $100 phone right here.
Anyway, yeah, did you have some thoughts on this game from what you watched?
Man, you guys may have had a roster makeover, but you guys are still the same old Seahawks in some ways.
What do you mean?
Like, you guys are still getting off to slow start after slow start after slow start.
Well, you can say that again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also losing games by one score, a timeless Carroll tradition.
Yep. Can't argue with that. Has remained true since the start.
And gosh, what was the last one I was thinking of? Oh yeah, you guys are still getting flagged way too much. Also, it's Carroll tradition.
Yes. We didn't have that many penalties in this game. We just had penalties at the worst possible time.
Yep.
But, yep, I agree. Oh, you got to change your battery in your smoke detector, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that I do have to do.
And get a new phone. It caused me all kinds of audio problems over here.
Yeah, it's just 3 years past its prime, man.
Oh, man. Well, I guess it's time to look ahead at the draft and all that kind of stuff for both of our teams.
And what phone I'm going to get?
Yeah, that too. That too. Well, we'll see how it goes. You guys will get Jimmy G back next year and, put you back in the conversation of, challenging the Rams for the top spot. Well, we'll see. We'll see how we can bounce back from this. Who do you think? Who's your pick? Who's going to be in the Super Bowl this year?
New England versus New Orleans.
Freaking New England. I hate to say it, you're probably right. I just don't need to see that again.
Honestly, yeah.
I would love to see. I would love to see the Colts. I'd love to see the Colts or the Chargers in there. Chargers. I think Chargers even more because, what's his face? Chargers quarterback. What's his name?
Rivers.
Philip Rivers, man. He's one of those guys. Great quarterback, sucky team that always chokes when it comes to playoff time, and that guy deserves. Even though he's a little obnoxious and annoying, but he deserves a shot at the big one. I'd rather see him in there and his whining to the refs all day than to see Tom Brady again. I just don't need to see that picture again. You know what I'm saying?
I will explode in laughter if the Chargers go out of the playoffs thanks to another special teams failure.
Sadly, they might find a way. KC's always found a way to early exit games when they shouldn't. The Chargers find a way to early exit. And and because of that, we might just see the Patriots standing still, as usual, doing their slow and steady, being the last man standing. But I hope not. But we'll see. We'll see if it's right. All right, man. Well, thanks for hanging on so long. Appreciate the call, and we'll do it again sometime. All right. Take it easy, man.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Julian over in New Jersey. Julian, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Scar?
Not much. Not much. How do you
feel? I do feel we run the ball way too much. Really, especially 2 and 13, second down, 13. We ran the ball, especially with Russell's arm. We could have got a lot more yardage, and this really sucks to see that.
Yeah, I have not looked at any stats or listened to any post-game stuff. I didn't really feel like it. I do wonder what his final attempts were. I mean, it had to have been in the low 20s, I'm guessing. Maybe I'll be surprised if it's not. But it felt like he didn't make that many attempts. But I'd be curious to see what the final stat line was. But it seemed like he barely barely threw the ball. I would have liked to have seen him open it up a little bit more and just, late in the game, just see what if Russell can work the magic. Felt like they didn't let him take out the magic hat enough.
Chris Carson is like, when we do have those like 3rd and longs, and I feel like Chris Carson could help out with that. But at the same time, like, Russell Wilson's like top 10 quarterbacks in the league right now.
Yeah, gotta give him a shot. Let him take a shot. Cause that throw he made to Baldwin, that was my favorite throw of the day. That toe tapper, great throw, great catch, and I think it did set up our touchdown.
To Baldwin?
Yeah, Baldwin on the left sideline. That was awesome. Because it looked in real speed, I thought he was out. Because it's so fast and his momentum's flying.
Yeah.
And you think his legs are just not in there, and then the refs call it in. You watch in the replay, and he gets 1 foot, drags the toe. Just amazing. But yet, what sucks about it is that you got these guys like Russell and Baldwin. Every time a season goes by, when you don't make it all the way, you're 1 year older. Their career's 1 more year closer to the end, and you have to start all over again the next season. And just like, I don't know how much more years we have left with these, some of these guys, or at least when they're at the top of their game, because eventually every player is going to start aging out of their prime. We see it all the time. Brandon Marshall, for example, just kind of aged out, and nobody wanted him by the time the year was done. But anyway, that's what's so sad about it. You got these really good talent, and sometimes it's just not the right time, or you don't have quite enough numbers of the right positions around you, and it just doesn't work out for whatever reason. And you got to reset, restart, do it all over again, and hope everybody can deliver. But we'll see how many of these stars we can keep.
And Seabass is 40 years old, coming up in March, or 41 years old in March.
Yeah.
And he's not looking too good right now.
Well, that's tough. That
torn hamstring.
Yeah, I don't know if it was torn. Did you hear if it was torn, strained, or?
I wouldn't doubt it. He's pretty old.
Yeah.
40,
well,
and that's around the time like when a lot of players start retiring.
I know what that feels like. I did that hamstring tear a year ago. Well, it was over a year ago, but when it was like second game of the season, and I was doing my Bruno Mars imitation, did the splits a la James Brown or Bruno Mars, but it's more like a hurdler stretch where you kind of jump and do a hurdler stretch, and I didn't warm up or nothing. As soon as I went down, I could feel that exactly what happened to Seabass, and it's a terrible feeling, man. It was like just somebody stabbing a knife into the back of your leg. It's terrible, but I finished the song though. But man, I was limping around like a mother, you know what? But yeah, he I don't know, we'll see. But that might just mark the start of the end for him. Just too bad.
120 yards this game, with 74 of those being return yards. So Lockett is really like, and he's still pretty young. So like Lockett is someone to like keep for the future season.
Yeah, he had a great season. Especially coming off of the broken leg and everything like that. So yeah, no, he's been fantastic. One of the best consistent guys all year.
If we still had Earl this game, I feel like a lot more stops, a lot less yardage for the Cowboys.
Yeah, possibly.
If we just had Earl, if he didn't fracture his leg.
Yeah, that's true. That's a long if then and if buts. When we lose Earl, like the fourth game of the season, or I can't remember.
It was against the Cardinals. I'm pretty sure.
It was. I know it was against the Cardinals. I can't remember what game that was, but it felt like a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, technically Earl's still on the team, but
I thought it was this was his last contract.
Yeah, no, he's done. I mean, technically he's on the team, but pretty much after the season's done, he's off. You know, he'll walk, and we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll
thanks, man.
Hopefully have more positive stuff to talk about. But anyway. All right. Yeah. Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. Man, I just realized this whole time that the title on the top of the screen is about the Chiefs. What the hell? I'm gonna fix that right now. An hour too late. Seahawks lose to Cowboys. There you go. Nice. That's real professional. Talking about the Chiefs at the top. What the hell is that? Nobody. You guys would tell me I didn't have an outdated title on top. That's just bad. Bad right there. All right. Keep it going. You guys are hanging in. I'm going to try to keep this lasting. Let's go to the 727. Been on for almost an hour. My God. From the 727, who's this?
From the 727, who's this?
Whoa. Hello?
Whoa. Hello?
That's weird. Anybody there?
Anybody there?
Well, I'm hearing myself. That's trippy. All right. Let's get out from that. Let's go to the 253. Waiting a long time. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
You talking to me?
I am talking to you. You're on.
Hey, what's up, Norv? I'm a huge fan. So
Thanks.
great getting to hear from you.
What's your name? And where are you calling?
You're so funny. You're so... Yeah, it's just...
Thank you.
It's really great to hear from you.
Appreciate it, man. Tell me where you're from. I recognize the area code. You can't be too far from me. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm actually from Gig Harbor, but I'm here in the enemy's den, surrounded by Rams fans and Chargers fans, and I think you can already guess.
Oh, so you're from Gig Harbor, but you live in California, or you just there for a short time?
Yeah, I'm from Gig Harbor, but I'm actually a UCLA student.
Oh, I got you.
And
Okay.
I just got
Nice.
back, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what's your name?
I'm Warren.
Warren?
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, what's your thoughts, man?
I don't know. I feel okay because, looking back and all those questionable decisions that our coaching staff made in the off seasons, with all those Pro Bowlers getting traded for a chump change, it feels like, and I don't know what happened. It just feels, I don't know if it's luck or if it's just this team mentality that everyone's talking about, but whatever it is, I just think Pete Carroll is just a genius, and what he's done for this organization is just outstanding, and
I agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
he's doing something right. When your team is in the playoffs 6 out of 7 years and at the Super Bowl twice, that's not luck. I mean, you're definitely doing some. Luck comes your way because what is that definition of luck? Is when preparation meets opportunity. I think is what they say. So they've been able to handle a lot what comes their way. Not to say that there's not luck involved. Some of these wins were so close it could have gone either way, but I mean, the teams that are good managed to get those wins in those tight situations. Today was no exception, and we didn't have luck on our side, unfortunately. But yeah, no, that's why I'm glad when they extended his contract earlier this year. I thought that was a good thing, because he's getting up there too. I was wondering, is he gonna keep coaching? Is he gonna, not renew? Will he just step down he's 67? He's getting up there. He's the oldest
people are
coach.
actually talking about releasing him, and I wouldn't go that far, but I still think he's one of the best coaches out there. And again, what he's done to this team is just outstanding.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just sucks when you get knocked out because.
Yeah, and, we always play hard. We give it our all, and it's always just so competitive. And with this game, like every game you lose, it's tough.
Yeah.
And I was pretty bogged down about it, but you gotta look ahead, and there's just so much coming our way, and I'm feeling pretty good about next year.
I agree. Definitely some good signs starting this year. Really, this year was sort of supposed to be the rebuild and all that, and it felt like they already got a head start on next year. So now they can really focus on what we need to do, and hopefully continue to beef up our lines, and look for that receiver.
I think the biggest concern for me after this game was I really think we just played really conservatively for most of the game, and if I had to put the blame on anything in particular, it'd probably be with the offensive coordinator. And I just don't really feel he's right for this team.
Are you saying you would want to fire him after 1 year?
Well, I don't know. Maybe give him another chance. But I was talking to somebody who is much older than I am. He knows a lot more about football than I do. But he was talking about his dad, actually, Marty, and he was apparently people like to call him like the worst best coach. Because he would always get to the playoffs, but when it really counted, he would just play super conservative. And I hope our coach isn't like that, because when you get to the playoffs, it's just everything changes. And as much faith as everyone else, as much little faith as everyone else put in the Seahawks organization, I didn't expect Dallas to play this well. And everything changes. And the Cowboys really,
they stepped up.
Yeah,
they exceeded my expectations. I didn't think they'd be as good. They were as good as advertised on defense for sure. And I guess the reason I defend the offensive coordinator is that we reestablished the run game, which we haven't had here for years, with the exception of Russell Wilson running his butt off last year. And that's a combination of the line coach and the offensive coordinator. And so when he gets that turned around in a year when we're not supposed to, and we get a 1,000-yard rusher the first time since Marshawn Lynch, and doing all these great things, it's hard to tear him up because he has one bad game, when he's had a great season. So trying to look at the entire body of work. I don't think it's fair to just go, hey, you did great, but you really called a bad game here, so you're out of here, So I agree. But I agree. I was frustrated feeling like they should.
More than I do. But I don't know. I guess when things go wrong, you just got to put the blame on somebody. It's just human nature, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, there's definitely some blame to go there. I'm just not saying that he should be fired at this point.
No, you're right.
Heck, I defended Darrell Bevel, who I hated. I hated Darrell Bevel for Super Bowl 49, as you can see in my video of it, and yet I still wasn't saying he should be fired. In a long message I put out there on Facebook or something, I still defended the offensive coordinator. Well, I don't know, maybe it should have been, but he eventually did get fired. But took a few more years after that. Anyway, so I think he'll be around next year. He did too many good things to be negated by one bad game. It was not even entirely his fault. So anyway, well, thanks for the call, man, and good luck at UCLA. What are you studying down there? What's your major?
I'm applied math major.
Applied math.
Yeah.
So you got to be pretty smart down there.
And riddle me this. I'm a logical guy. Of course, I'm doing math, and what I really don't understand is when you get into those 4-minute drills, 2-minute drills situations in the fourth quarter, everything just with Russell Wilson just chucking bombs downfield, everything just, offense just comes alive.
Right.
And I don't really understand how that happens, especially with this game with that lob. I don't know who he threw it to in the fourth quarter, but
that's the Tyler Lockett to get the ball down to the 11-yard line.
Why is that?
Yeah, you should do a thesis on it. How using math to tell the story about the Seahawks in the 2-minute drill and why the heck why suddenly the offense wakes up when they do it. There's got to be some kind of stat there, because we can't throw the ball all game long when they're stacking the box, and then when they drop a million guys in coverage, we throw a bomb for like 60 yards. That makes no sense. How Lockett could get that open when they have guys and they're actually preparing for that, and they get that kind of a play. So what else when they're stacking the box and they are one-on-one on the outside? Again, offensive coordinator question, but yeah, that's just unfortunate.
Again, that's out of my league, but you're the football expert, and I'm just a fan.
Well, we all claim to be experts, but we're all just fans out here, armchair quarterbacks. Yeah. If you really want to test yourself to see how it should be, is before a play is run, ask yourself, what play should they run right here? And then you realize, man, it's harder to call a game than you think. Obviously, if you played a lot of Madden, you're used to doing it. But man, it's hard to decide, man. It's like, what do you play? What one play do you run right now? And it's hard to just come up with the perfect play. It's perfect when it works, and when it doesn't work, you look like an idiot. So it's not always that the play was a bad choice. It might just be the execution. Somebody misses a block, or and maybe it would have been the perfect play if everybody did their job. But if it doesn't work, everybody goes, "Oh, who called that play? Fire him, offensive coordinator." It's not necessarily his fault. Though. But hey, man, good luck with everything. Sounds like you're gonna, good luck with your career.
This may sound a little bit crass, actually, but I was actually the guy who was next to me was saying that it was a good decision to throw it at the 1 yard line, at the goal line at Super Bowl 49, and I was talking to him like, why is that? Like everyone's saying they should have run the ball. Like, are you kidding me? And it really goes to show that it's not all black and white all the time, and the game is way more complex than I ever imagined. That's one of the things I've learned this year, just being a fan and paying more attention in detail and the jobs of these coaches. It's just really so many variables and so many things that you got to look for.
Well, that's interesting. You bring up Super Bowl 49. So I'll give you my little take, get on my soapbox here and talk about Super Bowl 49, that final play. So that's one of those cases where a couple things that bear in mind. You'll appreciate this as a stats and numbers guy. So that year, there had been no interceptions at the 1 yard line. So statistically, you're 100% throwing a safe pass that had never been intercepted by nobody. I think definitely the Seahawks, but I believe there were no interceptions thrown at the 1 yard line in 2014. So statistically, you had that. And then Seattle had scored on that very kind of play multiple times that year. So it had proven to be a successful play. Thirdly, the Patriots were lined up in a run defense, run formation, goal line run formation, and we were in a spread. So really, it would have been tough to run out of that play. For the record, I would have still run it. I would have lined up in like I formation, just pound it. That's what Patriots were expecting, so they went and set up for that kind of defense. We went into a spread passing formation. So you'd think that maybe the Patriots would have gone, oh, crap, we're in the wrong formation. Let's call timeout. But instead, they just went with it, and basically Brandon Browner was going to prison, by the way. It's crazy. And Malcolm Butler both made a great play because he'd seen it in practice and got burned, got chewed out for it, so he made a great play in the Super Bowl. I mean, it was a million things that had to go right for that play to go wrong. But it wasn't a bad play design. It was simply the execution by both teams going perfectly for one and horribly wrong for the other. And, you can talk about technique, how he went for the ball, went like this instead of like this. I'm showing my hands. And, had he attacked it like this, he would have caught it before it would have been taken by Malcolm Butler as he came across his body. A million things. But, yeah, by design, it wasn't necessarily a bad play. And if they got a touchdown out of it, they would have said, well, brilliant. They caught them, the Patriots in a obvious run formation. They came out with a spread and they threw it. Oh, they never saw that coming. It would have been considered the most brilliant play. So, but in the end, when it doesn't work, it goes from best call ever to fire the offensive coordinator. So, I mean, it's, that's how everything can change because of that much. So, anyway, thanks for calling, man. Good stuff.
That gives me a little bit good thing to think about, because I appreciate that clarity, because a lot of people are reeling like, wow, why do you make that decision? It's just terrible.
Well, and it's easy to say that after the fact.
Again, it's way more complex than.
Oh yeah, and when things work out, I think it's great.
Fan would imagine.
Another example, I'm really going off here, maybe because I'm just tired and whatever, but I think about the Carolina Panther game, where it was 4th down and 6, I think, and Russell throws a touchdown bomb to David Moore on the left sideline.
Beautiful pass. Yeah.
Beautiful pass, great catch, but rewind to before the ball is caught. At that point, you're going, what are you doing? Get the first down. What are you doing throwing all down the field? That's like low percentage play. Up to the point that he catches the touchdown. It's one of those no moments. And then he catches it. It's like, yeah, what a great play. Russell's awesome. And what a catch. So that's one of those things. If he doesn't get it, suddenly it's what the hell are you doing? You just lost the game because instead of getting the first down, you go for it all and you missed it. And why would you do that? But when it works, you look like the greatest guy in the world. So, there was a point at which that play was not a good play. And then, you flip it around and then it suddenly turns out to be the greatest play and it won the game, potentially kind of got them to win that game. So anyway, every play looks great from one side to the next. So it's all
hindsight's 2020.
Hindsight's 2020 and then some. Anyway, I'm going to get some other calls, but thanks, man. Good luck with the rest of your studies over at UCLA. I expect you to be doing some great stuff
Thank you so
after
much.
you graduate. All
Really
right.
appreciate talking to you. Go Hawks.
You bet. Go Hawks. That was cool. A brilliant mind down there. All right, I'm going to get this guy because I think it's a guy. It's the 727, waited forever.
Unmuted.
Waited forever.
No, wait, this is a call that's got me echoing myself. Never mind. I heard this one before. Okay, nope. All right, well, I just clicked on the 972, so you're on next. Who's this?
You're on next. Who's this?
Hello?
Yeah, what's up? Who's this?
Yeah.
My name is Marcos.
All right, Marcos, and where are you calling from?
I'm from Dallas, Texas, but I'm a Seahawks fan. Go Hawks.
Oh, Dallas-based Seahawk fan. Okay. All right, what's up, man? What's on your mind? You weren't at the game. You weren't at the game by chance, were you?
Nah.
Okay, all right. So what'd you think?
So I think we could have won that game, but it was just bad calls, like in the offensive side. Like if you see like they're stopping the run a lot, just pass the ball. That's what I'm thinking. Like what was the offense coordinator thinking? Like just keep running the ball and just like don't pass the ball a lot. But if you see in the game, the passing the ball worked more than running the ball. So
yep.
Yeah. And our defense could have stopped better Zeke Elliott by like pressing a lot, but they didn't. Like I expected more about the Seahawks, but I knew the Cowboys were gonna come back with their defense and stop our run.
Yeah. No, I think that seems to be the theme of the night, talking to everybody, is that they just wish they'd opened it up and let Russell throw the ball more. I mean, that clearly is feeling like would have been nice to see. Maybe he would have succeeded, maybe would have failed, maybe it would have been incomplete, intercepted or whatever, but you feel like just want to at least give it a shot. Let Russell just try to open it up and just take the game in his hands and try to make it happen. And felt like they waited too long to do it. So
yeah, because if you see like the run didn't work at all. Like Chris Carson tried to run the ball, but then we got negative yards out of it. So
yeah,
the only gun run we got was Rashad Penny's 20-yard run. So yeah, I think we should throw in the ball more.
I agree. And of course we'll never know, so we won't know if it would have worked, but it would have been nice to see for sure.
Yeah. We have to stop also the flags because those holding calls when KJ Wright and Justin Coleman got the holding calls, like that killed us too. We honestly could have stopped them and make another touchdown if it wasn't for those holding calls too.
Oh, for sure. Especially the first one, the one on KJ, and I said this earlier. I disagree with that call. The other one, I think, was more obvious, but
yeah.
That was a big one because earlier the time was much more time on the clock still. I think it was 7 minutes or something. They get the stop, they punt, then we've got plenty of time to get down the field. We're only a 1-score game at that point, so for that drive to continue and basically get down to 2 minutes and then they score, just makes it almost impossible to come back from. It's amazing they even got that far and got to the point of kicking the onside kick, but the onside kick was not even something to get excited about.
Yeah, I know.
But it just sucks that we had to wait to get to that point. But yeah, it's little things, man.
Yeah. And what else? I think like our offensive line wasn't like playing like wasn't the same like when we played against the Panthers and the Packers or the Vikings. Like they weren't the same. We were giving up like kind of a lot of sacks, but yeah, our O-line was getting destroyed. Yeah, that's another fact that like we should like draft more O-linemen instead. Well, we could draft like some corners, but we need more linemen too, because the O line is killing us right now.
Yeah, well, for the most part, though, this year they've been pretty good. This game, they gave up some obvious things. I've seen some missed guys that just missed blocks. I don't think that necessarily speaks to that they're just bad. I think there's just some poor execution, and maybe that Dallas is pretty good. Got to give them credit too. But I think D line especially, but offensive line, because I don't think they can keep everybody. Two guys who are going to be free agents. It was only on 1-year deals, so we'll see if they stay. Fluker and Sweezy.
Yeah.
They're done after this year. So.
Also in week 17, like I saw the Seahawks now play like we used to play good, like in the past weeks. Like we played bad against the Cardinals. That's when I saw that we have a problem, like on the playoffs. If we play like that, we have a problem in the playoffs. So
right.
Yeah, I also saw it coming.
Yeah, they definitely weren't quite there. You didn't feel like this was the Super Bowl makeup, but they
but at least we made it to the playoffs. Like I feel good about next year because we saw like a little pick of what's going to happen next about the rebuild.
Right. Yeah. No, I think there's definitely hope. But for me, as long as Russell Wilson's there, quarterback, we've got a shot. I can't believe these people who say we should trade Russell. I'm like, are you out of your mind?
No.
There's some teams who would die to have their franchise quarterback. They've been looking for a franchise quarterback forever and stuck in rebuild mode because they can't find it. And we've got one in there. He's not perfect, but he's better than most quarterbacks out there. He's consistent. Yeah.
Like we got the running backs, the QB, and the receivers, but like the only thing we need is O linemen and some good corners. That's it. Like we don't need a QB.
Yeah. Hey, Ancient Hawk 48. Wow, thanks for the big super chat. Appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
Hey, Marco. So, all right. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate your insight. Thanks for the call.
Yeah.
We'll try to get it next year. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, stay safe amongst those Cowboy fans.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks. You. Go Hawks.
Yep. Go Hawks. Thanks for calling. All right, let's go to Clay here in Washington. Clay, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, man. How are you doing?
Good. My name's Quinn.
Quinn. All right, I fixed my little notes up here. Quinn. So.
So I think we need a better secondary in the draft.
Ooh, losing faith in Shaquille Griffin and Trey Flowers?
No, not him.
Oh, well, who are you talking about specifically?
I think Shaquille Griffin's really good. I think we have a good chance with him. I think we might need a couple of different corners, and I think we might need somebody else instead of Tedrick Thompson.
Oh, Tedrick Thompson. Yeah. Yeah, you might have a good point there. I don't think he's terrible, but still things have to be figured out.
He's not terrible, but we need some run stoppers, basically.
Sorry, I dropped my mouse. There we go. Yeah. Well, that was that's the hard part about losing Cam Chancellor was he was so good at both coverage and run stopping. He was one of the best. That's why he was one of my favorite players. But he's tough to, him and Earl, tough to go from those two all-pro Pro Bowlers to finding what's the next, the replacement.
We might need a couple. Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright. They've been there for a long time. We don't know when they're gonna retire.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And those at some point those guys are too. I think Bobby's still got good years ahead of him, but yeah. We'll see. I mean, I think McDougal's been great. Tedrick Thompson. Yeah, good question. The depth of the secondary is there is some questions. So, somebody in the Hawks nest says Shaquille Griffin needs to go. Ooh. He definitely had a couple bad plays today, but gave up a big run, gave up that pass. And if he could have just gotten turned around, he could have broken that thing up. It's just again defines our season. Just couldn't quite get enough plays to go our way. So, well, we'll see. But yeah, I know it's a tough game. But reload. we'll get him next year. But well, thanks for calling, man. We will. Well, I'm sure we'll be talking as we get into free agency and the draft in the off season. But it's been a good season overall. So thanks for the call. Oh, what the heck? Oh, I lost my phone. Okay, hold on a second. All right, let me try to reestablish the connection. Sorry about that, folks. Let's see here. Try to get this going again. In the meantime, let me see. Let me go to the, see if I can get the phone line running again. It's going to go to the 206. Are you there? Oh, hold on a second. I lost it. There we go. Are you on the line?
Welcome. This service is provided by freeconferencecall.com.
Thank
There
you.
is one
All right, let's see.
in this conference.
All right. Anybody there? All right, let's try to go to Xavier at Federal Way. Xavier, you there on the line?
Hello?
Oh, there you go. Okay, I lost my internet went kaput, but I got it back up. This is Xavier?
That's all good.
Xavier?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I
how
can't
you
believe
doing?
you actually remember me.
Well, I have my little notes thing in here, so when people call in, I try to make notes of who I talk to, so I can remember who they are next time they call. But yeah, I remember talking to you. Didn't I guess that you?
Yeah, I
didn't
remember that.
Didn't I guess that you were a Filipino on the phone too?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that
Yeah.
too. Yes, I have a good memory sometimes. And what's up, man? What's your feeling after this game?
Oh, feeling. Oh.
I know it's not a good feeling.
I feel like we played a really good game, like offensively, defensively, but I feel like we should have passed the ball a little bit more, like everyone else was saying. I feel like we should have, and late defensive meltdowns with the pass interferences. They were just, it was really bad. I thought that we had a chance with just those pass interference calls really changed the game, and that big third down conversion that Dak converted that really put the game away. But my question is, how would you think about the season, and what do you think what would you want to hope for in the off season? Like any trades, any improvements, or something like that?
Well, when we talked a little bit about the draft, what do I consider the weaknesses and what areas do we need to shore up? I think I'd start with the defensive line. Frank Clark has been awesome. Jaron Reed has been great. But I feel like we've still given up, a lot of rushing yards for whatever reason. And I feel like we could use
that definitely got to be cleared up.
Another end, because before we had kind of the tandem of Cliff Averill and Michael Bennett. Those guys could both rush the passer, and we had so much depth, especially when we went to the Super Bowl 48. We had basically like 2 starting lines of D, and they were all affordable. That's why we could have so many guys. They were all cheap at that time. But I think we need a little bit more depth in the D line. I'd probably start there, and then I still think I'd like to see a tall receiver. Gives Russell a big target to throw to.
Well, I mean, back then we used to have like Jimmy Graham in the red zone, and he was a big, tall receiver.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But ever since we got rid of him, it hasn't really been the same. I mean, we've used David Moore a lot, but I don't think he's more. I think he's more of a third down receiver. But I don't think you can replace Jimmy Graham. I don't think you can. I think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, we don't have that big guy that you can kind of just say, oh, you're going to go to him, because it seems like so many teams have this kind of tight end quarterback combination of, like Travis Kelce and the Jason Witten, Romo connection, and Drew Brees, Jimmy Graham at the time. Just some of these teams, Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates. It's like you have these tight end quarterback combinations where it's like just always there. And you know, I don't know. Maybe when we get who was it, Will Dissly, who got hurt early in the year, that started out great.
Yeah, Will Dissly.
You know,
you have him.
And some the
I really liked him in the
said the same
beginning of
thing.
the year.
But yeah, so you know,
really
we kind of forgot about him, but he had a couple of great catches in that Denver game, and got hurt so early. It was just unfortunate. And but you know, he's more of a blocking tight end, so he's not really looked at as like a Jimmy. He's not the anti Jimmy.
That's what I was
Graham.
thinking on week 1.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think he's like when I first thought of him back, when he had that 100-yard game, like could we have like a more better blocking version of Jimmy Graham? But then he got hurt later earlier in the year, and I was just like,
yeah, so
we can't lose him now.
Yeah, and so I think I'm confident that he'll be back next year, and hopefully, you know, can bring more of that, because he sure started out of the gates hot and then just got cut short. So, you know, I think that's really fun. I remember that such a fluky
I think
play.
he'll be fine.
Yeah, we've seen other guys return.
Yeah, he'll be all right. I think he kind of suffered this. I think he suffered
same thing as Jimmy Graham
like
had, patellar tendon injury. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I do. I think that's the same kind of injury that happened to Jimmy Graham back in 2015. That's
exactly
kind of weird.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it is weird, but apparently a tough one to come back from. But he came back from it well, and hopefully we'll just do the same thing. So, you know, we'll be getting a guy who we feel like we never really had last year. So it'll be kind of like regaining another player back. Almost like getting a new player in the draft again, just because it's been so fresh and we never really had a chance to use him.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. I can't wait to see him play, and hopefully see if Shaquem Griffin might get the start next season, or at least get some reps in next for the regular season. I mean, KJ's not going to be there for long.
Well, I think his contract is up after this. Isn't his contract up after this year too?
I believe.
I think he's free agent.
I think he's a free agent this or next year. Or might be this year.
I thought it was this year, but Frank Clark, kind of in the Frank Clark boat. So we'll have to see.
I think Frank Clark's also a free agent this year.
Exactly. I think they both
we need to get.
Yeah, I have to double check that. But again, tough decision to make, because he's want to get paid. He definitely is getting paid by somebody next year, and if Seattle doesn't give him,
I hope so. I hope so. We can't lose talent like that.
I know it's tough though, because you only got so much
combination
money.
of Frank Clark and Jen Reed, it's been pretty good so far this year.
Yeah, but you know, it's again, we got that Russell Wilson extension looming after this year, so you know they're gonna have to be saving up to make room for that. So, yep, it's a tricky thing. That's why it's so hard to keep players, because you know eventually they play up, get their price up, and then to pay them or let them go and start fresh. You know, it's a tough balance. And we got so loaded with expensive free agents after last year that's what we had to do. We had to dump
it was really
them.
hard last year because we were like really low in cap space.
Right.
So we couldn't really afford most of the defensive players. Like Sherman, he wanted a lot of money. Earl Thomas wanted a lot of money. Cam Chancellor.
No, he got his money.
Neck injury that ruined his career. Yeah.
Well,
before then, a few years ago, he wanted a lot of money.
Right. Yeah, he held out.
And just like I get that they're stars, they're amazing, they're great players, they're very talented. I think they play really well, but all in all, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. Yep. Well, hopefully so. It's nice to know that Russell Wilson will probably be there for the long haul, and Pete Carroll's there for at least another 2 years. I think extended to 2020 or 2021. So,
yeah,
so he'll be playing for Seattle. He'll be 70 years old, still coaching the team. But hopefully we can get back to there. But we're gonna have to contend with the Rams, who look like they're gonna be tough for a while. So we got to find a way to take some games from them and get the division back, because it's tough to be on the road. It's just hard to be on the road to win the playoffs. We're great when we're at home, but the road's a whole different story. So,
yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, it's good talking to you, man. Thanks for the call and for hanging in there. We'll get this next year.
Oh yeah, yeah. Anytime, man. Anytime.
All right.
Definitely.
All right.
Can't wait for the off season. Can't wait for the draft.
Yep. It's gonna be fun as always. All right. Take it easy, man. Good hearing from you. Go Hawks.
All right. Go Hawks.
All right. Let's see who else we got here. He's been on for a long time. Ahuva. I think that's the name. Is this Ahuva? Do I got that down right?
Yep, got it right.
All right. What's on your mind?
Nothing. When I was watching them all year, they ran the ball a lot, many games, and I felt like that was a big red flag. That they were getting away with a lot of games they ended up winning, but they were putting themselves in situations where their defense had to make big plays. I remember the Vikings game a few weeks ago in Seattle, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really close game. If you remember, the Vikings, Kirk Cousins went for it on a big 4th and goal. Okay, that changed the whole game. But the whole game, the Seahawks were dominating. The only reason they weren't up by a lot is because they just kept on running the ball the whole game. And what's scary about that is Kirk Cousins converts that 4th down, it's a completely different game. And I think what happened tonight is they fell in love with what they've been doing the whole year. I really believe this team could have won 13 games if they let Russell Wilson be a little more open and stop limiting him like they did today. If you look at teams that run the ball generally go 7-9, because anytime you run the ball, whether it's 4 or 5 yards, it looks like a good productive run, but what you don't realize is that same play that you ran for 4 or 5 yards, with a pass play, maybe you get 20 yards. People don't realize, they look at a 6-7 yard run and think, wow, that's really productive. But maybe instead of, if you didn't run, maybe you could have made a 20 or 30 yard pass. And tonight's a game where you have to make adjustments. It was so obvious that it wasn't working and it was literally holding them back. For them to do it throughout the whole game, he needs to be fired immediately because they will never win with this guy Schottenheimer. You saw what he did with the Jets. They couldn't win with him there. This is something where it wasn't a mistake, it wasn't a bad call, it was the entire game. And I think when you do that, it changes the whole outcome.
Wow. Well, to your point, look at the first and second games of the season. And there they did not run the ball. And they went with a very pass-heavy offensive approach, and they lost those first 2 games. And I remember the whole time going, why aren't they running the ball? Why aren't they running the ball? So, I know what you're saying. It's a formula that basically, if you commit to the run, what you're telling everybody is we're going to play a game that relies on low scores, burn up the clock, and hope our defense can make stops because we're certainly not going to outscore anybody, right? That's basically what you're saying is the issue with the philosophy.
And yeah, that's exactly the point. And I think what happens is that it's going to work when you obviously have a good run game and you have a good defense. But what you end up doing is you end up limiting your team. So it looks good when you win some games, but all you're doing is you're setting yourself up for games like this where it comes back to bite you. And they went 9-7. You could say, okay, it was a rebuilding year. Pete Carroll did a great job. But you know what? They could have done more. We've seen teams. You remember the Chiefs a few years ago, Andy Reid's first year. He took over a 4-12 team or a 2-14 team. They won 11 games the next year. So you look at the Seahawks team and say, well, they made the playoffs. They were 9-7. Maybe with a different offensive coordinator, maybe they win 11 or 12 games. Now, I'm not saying that would have happened, but I'm just saying when you can have a game where the entire world is watching and a 5-year-old could have told you that they're running the ball too much, and for you to have an offensive coordinator, there's only 30 of them in the world, to not see that, that's a big red flag because there are people that make mistakes. That's not a mistake. That's something you cannot, under any circumstance, that cannot happen where an entire game you don't make a single adjustment and you do the same game plan the whole game, run it the first 2 plays every time, and then you pass it on a 3rd down. That's just unacceptable, and they have to make a change. Darryl Bovell had the same thing where he would run too much, I always felt, and I felt like it limited them from doing a lot more. I think they could have maybe won more Super Bowls or gone into more Super Bowls if they were more aggressive. Some of the playoff games they've lost. But this was a game where I've never seen something like that, where it was literally the same exact thing every drive, run it the first 2 times and then pass. Russell Wilson is one of the best passers in all time, accurate-wise. This is a guy you could almost not stop. And for them to not allow him to throw the ball more and take more shots is something that he needs to get fired because the Seahawks have a team that can do a lot of damage going forward, and they will never get anywhere with this guy, Schottenheimer.
Wow. You create a very very convincing argument in terms of your analysis of that. And I agree with you. What I would say definitely in this game where they failed to, make adjustments because it did feel like, usually they're really good about making adjustments after the half, and it felt like they definitely did not alter their offensive approach. I'm looking at the stats right here for the first time, and Russell was 18 for 27, 233 yards. So he only had 27 passing attempts. I figured it was in the 20s. I thought maybe it's like the low to mid 20s, but 27 is about right. But yeah, I mean, I agree that they needed to adjust quicker. That I think staying committed to the run in the first two quarters, I was okay with that. Probably though in the third quarter, by the time they got to that point and they saw we could do some things if we go through the air, that I thought they would have at that point kind of made more of an effort to stay with that. And
also a problem that I've had watching football when teams run is that you start a drive at the 10 or 15-yard line, and the chunk plays 6, 7, 8 yards, and it's really working. But what ends up happening is you fall in love with it, and once you get to midfield, you continue to the 40-yard line.
Uh-oh. Oh, I'm losing you, bro.
All of a sudden, you continue, but then all of a sudden they get stopped, and now it's 2nd and 9, and they run again, and all of a sudden that whole drive comes down to one play, 3rd down and 6, 3rd down and 7. And that whole drive, so many times where you end up getting a field goal or you get stopped, you wasted that whole drive of great running because you continue. What ends up happening is the other team picks it up, and they get ready for it, and they stop you. So that 50, 60 yards that you picked up running, you're supposed to change it up and make a 20 or 30-yard pass. But they think, well, we're in such a good rhythm, we continue running. Seahawks did that so many times this year. And also, how many times do you see a team run really well, get downfield, and then fumble? I've always been worried about when teams run it because of fumbling, because the guys are consistently getting hit. And that's why I want to stay. I don't want the Seahawks to start having an identity of running the ball. I think that's a big mistake. This is a passing league. Russell Wilson is as good as anyone in throwing a football as far as accuracy and him being able to run. You don't want the Seahawks to fall in love with that and have an identity because it's always going to limit you. A team that goes 9-7 maybe could have won 11 or 12 wins. A team that loses in the second round maybe could have won a couple of, you never see the Patriots run the ball. They're always pass heavy first, and they mix in the run game, but you'll never see the Patriots do what we saw tonight, and that's the difference because they're an aggressive team. They know what wins, and I believe with Russell Wilson still in his prime and Pete Carroll getting that extension, this is a team that can get back to multiple Super Bowls as long as they get a new offensive coordinator.
That's interesting. Well, the thing about it is, Pete Carroll's philosophy, though, is that he's a run-first, play-strong defense type of philosophy. So it kind of starts from the top and works its way down. So, I don't think Pete Carroll is going to really suddenly radically change his philosophy to be kind of pass-heavy first necessarily. But I think the point has got to be balanced. And you certainly, if the running game is working and you're able to continue to control the game with that, well, great. But the problem is with that formula, once it stops working, well, you got to change it up because if the run game opens everything up, if the run game's not working, then that whole premise, obviously the foundation of that goes away, and you've got to do something different.
I always felt like you look at Drew Brees. Drew Brees, literally, I want him to have 3 opportunities, okay? A guy like that, it's almost impossible with her scheme and the way his accuracy. It's almost impossible to stop Drew Brees. I mean, look at how accurate this guy is. I'd rather take 3 chances, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down, of him throwing the ball than running it all. And I know you want to mix it up, but I've always looked at Drew Brees on these 10, 15-yard passes. It's almost impossible to stop. And I've always felt, okay, if the passing game isn't working, then you can mix it up and start running. But let Russell Wilson be him. Until they're stopping him, let him, when a team, let's just say, completes a ball 3 times, many times you see them run, and they say, well, you got to mix it up. But you know what? You just completed it 3 times in a row. Until he stops, until they're, he throws an incompletion, let him keep on throwing. Because worst case scenario, okay, he throws an incompletion. But how many times do we see a team stop throwing after 3 straight completions in a row and they run it for 4 or 5 yards? Yet I've seen Tom Brady complete passes, 5, 6, 7 passes in a row because they continue, they go with the rhythm. And I think Russell Wilson, it's so hard to stop a guy because he can run and because of how accurate it is. I want him constantly taking shots. I want him to be like Tom Brady and Drew Brees where he's constantly throwing. And if it doesn't work, then you can adjust. But let's see what this guy can do, how many more games they can win. If they start becoming a lot more pass-heavy, their defenses will be their identity. That's Pete Carroll's strength. I've always felt the defense is first with him. But as far as offensively, I think going forward, Russell Wilson has showed you this year how incredibly accurate he is and how he can make anything out of anything. He can, the pass tonight to Doug Baldwin, it was a perfectly
Right.
The defense did everything they could. He was completely contested, and yet he still was able to fit the ball in a perfect spot. So I want him going next year and the year after to just start with the passing more, and if it doesn't work, then you can go back to running, but see what this guy's capable of, and let him just continue to pass. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah. All right. Well, you had some great stuff. I appreciate your time, Ahuva. And I just on that point, I would say that if there was something, a coaching philosophy that I would have an issue or something that could be worked on is, Pete Carroll always, says can you win the game in the first quarter? No. Second quarter? No. Third, fourth quarter? No. Fourth? Yeah. And the problem with that is if you buy into that too much, you get into this sort of pattern that we see all the time, which is the Seahawks start slow and expect to win the game in the fourth quarter. Whereas the reality is you could actually say, you know what, if we just kick their butts in the first quarter, maybe we could win the game in the first quarter. If you get too big of a lead, we could put them away early. Just like the Seahawks, when they do actually have a lead of more than, I can't remember if it's 4 points or 7 points at the half, they're undefeated in over 50-something games. So why not try starting off hot and throwing the ball more and being aggressive as if you're down already and try to get an early lead instead of playing a very slow starting type of formula, just because we've had a lot of games this year where we've left it to where we had to try to come back at the end, and sometimes we've done it and more often we haven't. And same thing here, we fell short because we ran out of time and we were just a little bit too far behind and playing catch up. So that's one thing I think the philosophy could be worked on, because why do we have to start slow? It's like we're so used to it over 6 years of doing it, managed to still have some success, but it doesn't have to be that way. So I agree on that. You don't have to completely redo your philosophy, but you could try a different approach to the pace of the game to start it off. So anyway, wow, you guys are still around waiting on the call. I'll get a few more here and then we have to call it a night. It's getting past midnight. Can't believe I'm still going this late, but hey, let's go to Hans at the 425. Hans.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hans Bobby, what's up, man?
How are you?
All things considered, I'm doing all right. I'll be more bummed tomorrow when I have to wake up and kind of go, oh, that's right, the season's over, isn't it? But right now I'm just kind of
right. Yeah.
I'm just kind of numb, I guess is would be the best way to describe it. But how you doing?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I'm all right. I think when you look at how the season went, and obviously not a lot of people thought we would be where we ended up, and I would say that in some ways we definitely overachieved. I'd say that we lost to in my opinion at least, slightly more talented team in Dallas. I thought that them having home field advantage, obviously, it's big for them and all of that. I think that we battled. I thought that we could have opened the offense up a lot more, especially when you're thinking, I mean, Russell I thought he had a pretty good day through the air. I thought when he needed it the most, though, it was tough because we would run in the first two plays and then get into third and long, or penalties would kill us or whatever. But it was tough. I want to just hear what your input is on the season, as far as obviously, of course, you're disappointed, but I think we have a great future. It was going to be tough anyways to get to the Super Bowl, regardless if we won or lost. But I just want to hear your input on it.
Well, like you said, I think the fact that we overachieved from what the expectations were on the season, I can't say I'm disappointed when we went in thinking we'd be lucky to even sniff the playoffs. Again, I said 10-6 to start the year off. I'm probably one of the few people who actually said that. But even when I wrote that or made that prediction, I was going, man, this is probably a stretch. But we managed to do it. And so to have done what we did and get in the playoffs with this sort of, with this kind of roster turnover is pretty amazing. And look at the positives. The positives are that we recaptured our running game dominance. We were the number one rushing team in the NFL. We got a 1,000-yard rusher for the first time since Marshawn Lynch. I mean, these are all things that are really good. And I still believe, despite what the other callers said earlier, I still believe you need to have a running game. to have success.
Sure.
I think anytime you're one-dimensional, it's never a good thing. But you need to have balance. And so I'm certainly think this is a good sign of things to come, and that's why I think that there's positive things I've gotten from this coaching staff. I'm just in this particular game, I'm just disappointed at the lack of adjustment and creativity with the offense. I just felt it was too conservative, and I think they just need to, open it up and mix it up a little bit. That's what, when you watch the Rams play, and the Chiefs for that matter, they have a lot of interesting crossing routes and different things, and I felt like we were lacking that, in this game. It just felt a lot like they just thought they could just keep doing the same thing, running the ball up the middle, and just clearly it wasn't working. And it seems like every time you have one advantage, it sets up another disadvantage. Meaning that if they're gearing up to stop the run on the inside, then that's going to open something up somewhere else. Someone's got to be open. If they're putting so much emphasis on stopping the run, someone else has got to be able to get open, or at least got to be some place you can exploit it. And that's something that they've got to figure out so that we don't get caught in that trap where it's like shut down a running game and all of a sudden we have no offense. So, would have been nice to have seen them adjust, whether that be Russell, just throwing it more or doing some creative plays that were just different from what they were seeing. But I don't feel like that was the issue the whole season long. So that's why I don't feel like it's a whole coaching type of thing. But,
I mean, when you look at, go ahead.
Oh, but it's rolling into next season. Every season you're faced with certain stars who are going to either have to get re-signed or let go. And we've got a few of those. I think KJ and Frank Clark are the two named ones that pop out. And whether they re-sign them or not, if we lose Frank Clark, that's another pass rusher. And that guy's played amazing this year. And I hope they can find a way to re-sign him. I just think, man, he's made a case that he needs to get paid. And I just don't know if the Seahawks are in a position to be able to pay him what he's worth. But, man, to lose him would be tough. That means we got to replace him next year. And so no matter what, I think we got to get more guys on the D-line, beef up that side of things. But, no, I like where it's going. I just feel like we're a couple pieces here and there short. And I still feel like we're one really good receiver away, that one guy who can really, just sort of be the go-to, big target when Russell needs to get that crucial 3rd and 7. He can turn to that big target to throw to, and then have the Baldwins and the Locketts surround him for those other receivers. But I think we're still missing that big target that you can kind of just count on to be there.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the matchup itself today, I felt like obviously for the Cowboys, I felt like their front seven is probably one of the best, if not the best in the NFL, and their secondary is, well, I feel like it's so-so. I mean, I felt like we could have really exploited that secondary if we really wanted to. It felt like we were going back to the run, way too much, and then, getting stuffed or whatever. And then, Russell wasn't able to make the play when we kind of needed him. But I feel like, going into the offseason, I do agree. We need to definitely re-sign Frank Clark. Even then, I think we need to draft another D lineman because if you looked at it, in this game, and I feel like throughout the season, one of the things that was lacking on our defense is we weren't able to get enough. We weren't able to get home on a lot of the pressures that we caused. I think one of the only guys that was able to, penetrate, especially on the edge, was Frank Clark, and so that's why I stress the importance of re-signing him. But I think in this game we could have used one more or two more sacks just to get that, other stops that would have given us the ball back. But man, it's tough. And I mean, you got guys like Fluker, who is also going to be free agents, and he was great this season. I think KJ Wright, I think they probably won't re-sign him, just knowing that they're probably going to go towards someone a little more younger. Although I would certainly like, it would be great if they did, but I seriously doubt it. I think Fluker, it would be great if they re-signed them. I thought our offensive line played way better than a lot of people expected. I think they're not getting enough credit. I thought they actually gave Russell a decent amount of time in the pocket. I felt like, they weren't great in the running game today. I feel like you have to credit Dallas on that, but And they came in ready to play. They were ready to play on defense. I feel like every time we play late in these games and we lose, it's because of something like penalties. And I'm not saying that the refs cost us this game, because those are actual penalties. They're not like, oh, the refs just threw a flag because they wanted to or whatever. I feel like it's just self-inflicting,
Yeah, the
Fluker
one was the worst. Knocking that guy over.
Yeah,
the play was
right,
done. It was just stupid. That was the terrible one.
Yeah, it really is. And I feel like we just do it in the worst times possible. And I think that's something we got to stop, as well as the slow starts on offense. Those really, I feel like they come back to kill us in the end. And I felt like this was one of those games, if we could have used that extra touchdown at the end. If we had just gotten some extra points in the first half, it would have been nice. Obviously, with the injury to Sebastian Janikowski, it didn't make things a lot easier. But I felt like at the end of the day, Dallas fought, we fought, and I think at the end of the day, there's nothing to be. Obviously we're disappointed, but I think there's nothing to look down on and be like, okay, well, we have to, do this or this, and I think we'll be fine going into next year, as long as we, I think, do the things like re-sign Frank Clark, and then we've got, I don't know how many draft picks. I think we've also got like $60 million in cap space, so I think we should have enough to re-sign Frank Clark and hopefully DJ Fluker. I think also Justin Coleman might be a free agent. So,
right.
But yeah, I want to know, what's your, besides D-line, I would like to know what's your biggest need for the Seahawks. Because I know pass rush is, I think, for me, is just as important, if not second, after quarterback is most important. I'd like to know what's your biggest want for this team besides D-line.
Well, I was hoping for the same thing. I would love to see them draft a really strong top-tier receiver. Somebody who can really, big target. That I would love to see that. And I can't remember the last time the Seattle drafted a receiver up in the, high rounds. But it feels like it's just been a long time since we've been able to have somebody who's just, a true number one receiver. I just don't think we have one. We don't have a number one kind of guy out there. I mean, you look at our receiving core, and you've got Doug Baldwin, Tyler Lockett, Nick Vannett, David Moore. I mean, those are your four guys. And can you really call any of those guys a number one? I mean, Tyler Lockett had a great season, and he is a great downfield type of guy, but he's not what you'd consider number one receiver type of material, right? He's
right.
Been great, but I wouldn't think that he'd be like number one on someone else's team necessarily. So I'd love to have somebody who's really just could just be an awesome target for Russell to throw to. I think that would be probably outside of D-line. That's what I would like to see. We rarely do it, and I think it would be fun to get the right guy in there and see if it's somebody who can really make a difference, an impact player at the receiver position. So
yeah, I feel like that's what we were kind of lacking this season, was like a chain mover, like Jimmy Graham or someone even in the red zone who we can just throw it up to. Obviously, we did sign Brandon Marshall, but I mean, he didn't really get a lot of playing time. It just didn't really work out with him. But as far as like the offensive coordinator thing and on how Brian Schottenheimer seems to be under some scrutiny right now. I think that our offense was way better this season than in the last three, just because we were able to run the ball and we ran it no matter if we would get like 2 yards per play or 4. I felt like there was less pressure on Russell Wilson, but at the same time, I feel like you put that ball in that guy's hands, he can make magic happen. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's a passing league, and that I think the coaches might have to adapt a little to I feel like what is more of a new age of football. I do agree the run game is extremely important, but I think that especially with a quarterback like Russell, you have to put it into his hands more than not.
Right. Well, the thing about Russell, the great thing about Russell Wilson is he's not selfish about stats. So he's not the kind of guy who's going to go out there and force something or make it about him. He's had seasons where, and when he had to throw the ball, he's thrown the ball and, got the yards, got the touchdowns. He's had a season where he had to run the ball. He was the leading rusher, so he's run it when he's had to run it. And he's taken a step back when we've made the running game the priority and he's not thrown the ball that much. He's kind of does whatever works for the team. And I think that's what makes him such a great asset. But I do believe he's one of the best passers out there. And, I think that they got to utilize that. I think, they definitely underutilized it this year, even though he's had a ton of touchdowns and he's had some. I think this has actually been one of his career best years. So it's not like he hasn't done anything. It's just the emphasis has been so much on the run game. But I think there are times when they could up his attempts. Like it would have been nice to have seen him in the 35 range of attempts in this game. That would have been 8 more passes than what he threw. And we're not talking about going 50 throws or anything like that, but even 8 more attempts would have been, just a couple more per possession, that maybe could have changed the dynamics of things and not find ourselves in third and longs because of a bunch of stopped runs. So, it's, there's so many things that, could have been changed. But Russell's the one constant that he's solid. They just got to give him, maximum opportunities so that we can get the most out of him. But I'm glad that he'll be around for a long time, I think. So, well, hey, man, I'm going to get some of the calls here. Appreciate it.
Sure. Go ahead.
For your call and your input,
All
man.
right, well, all right. Well, I'll talk to you later then, man. Go Hawks.
All right, go Hawks. All right, we do a couple more here because it's getting very late. And you guys have got patience like Job. It blows my mind. Real quick, Duran Everest, you keep saying to the chat, I'm not sure what you want me to do. I guess you want me to just acknowledge you. So I see your Boys of Summer, Don Henley suggestion for a song. Duly noted. I'll think about that as we got the off season to contend with. But let me get just a couple more before I wrap things up. I'm just going to go basically on duration of wait time. So I'm going to go with the out of country code here. Let's see what this is. What's up? You're on with NorbCam. Who's this?
Hey, how's it going? It's Jack from Australia.
Oh, did I talk to you earlier? Or is this a different person from Australia?
This is a different person.
Oh, wow. I got 2 people from Australia in one night. How about that? So Jack from Australia?
Yep.
Wow. All right, Jack. What's on your mind tonight?
I just wanted to get your thoughts on Michael Dixon, the punter. Obviously, he had his blow tonight, not getting that onside kick. But what's your overall thoughts on the season of him?
Oh, I love Michael Dixon, man. I'm like, we should look for more kickers down in Australia because that dude was something else. He's been actually the bright spot in sometimes in games where there hasn't been a lot going for us. You could always count on Michael Dixon to kick the crap out of the ball. So he's a fantastic punter. It's awesome that he's going to the Pro Bowl in his first year, and that says a lot. And then when he ran that fake punt out of our end zone, which was a crazy thing to do against Detroit, but it worked. Again, a play is brilliant when it works, and if it's a disaster, everybody wants to fire whoever called that play. But he did that on his own.
Yeah.
But no, I like the guy. I was not happy with the onside kick, but again, that's not really his job. Normally, that's the job of the kicker, and our kicker got knocked out of the game. So it's not really a fair thing to expect the punter to suddenly come in and just do everything the kicker was doing. That's just not really how it works. So I don't expect. I think because we've gotten to think of Michael Dixon as the Superman of punters, that he can just do everything and come to the rescue of anything that involves a foot. He's going to be great at it, but he's a punter, so I don't really think being a kicker is just going to suddenly just become an automatic thing that he can do. So I think we're looking for a kicker for next year, but I think Michael Dixon is great. I mean, he punts the ball farther and higher than most punters out there, and that's pretty much all you can ask for from a punter. He's awesome.
Cool, yeah, he's cool. He's making headlines over here, so everybody loves him over here. So it's getting a bit more of a game time of the Seahawks in Australia, which is good for me. So yeah.
So you're already a Seahawks fan. You've been a Seahawks fan for a while.
Yeah, I was already a Seahawks fan before he came into the Seahawks. Yeah, so I was really happy when he got drafted to the Seahawks.
So you knew Michael Dixon obviously before he went to the NFL, right?
I heard a little bit about him at Texas, but I didn't know like crazy about him.
Okay, so it wasn't like this local boy heading to the NFL. Everybody's waiting to see what happens to him. It was kind of like he was just one of many kickers. He just happened to be from Australia, but it wasn't like everybody was looking at him to be the next great punter for the Seahawks or anything like that.
No.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. I guess you kind of have that. You meet somebody who's from a certain city, and you assume that because that person's from that city, you go, oh, well, you must know my friend blah, blah, blah. He's from there. And you forget that that country is huge and has thousands and if not millions of people. So the chances are, just because you know a name and it happens to be the same country, doesn't mean everybody in that place knows everybody. So I just see Australia. Oh, they must know Michael Dixon like he lives next door or something. But that's cool. No, I think it's been a bright spot. And, the fact that they traded up in the draft to get him. I know a lot of people thought, what the heck are they doing trading up to get a punter? Well, I don't think anybody's second guessing that one now. We got a Pro Bowler right there. So maybe if they could do the same thing and find a kicker in the same method, look for more kickers down in Australia because they seem to know what they're doing with their feet down there. So, yeah, no, that's great. So thanks for calling all the way from Australia. What time is it over there?
It's 6:40.
In the evening. It's 6:40 in the evening. Wow.
Yep.
That's wild. All right. Well, that's cool. So I guess you get all the games. You're able to watch all the Seahawks games down there.
I'm not able to watch all the games because our TV broadcasters over here only get 2 games out of the how many games are on. So I might be able to watch maybe 5 on TV a season, and then I just get the NFL Game Pass to watch the rest.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. Oh, so you're able to get to it. Okay. So you watched this playoff game tonight live?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, unfortunately, we couldn't talk more about an extended season, but, it's been a fun ride. We'll see what they do in the offseason this year. Should be interesting. So, all right. Well, thanks for the call, man. It's good to talk to you. Hope you'll call again.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
That's cool. 2 calls from Australia tonight. That's a record. All right. Couple more here. Let me get Jared from Wenatchee. He's been on for a long time. Jared, what's up, man? You're on with NorbCam.
How's it going, Norb?
It's going okay. It's depressing, tired. I'm kind of just numb to it all, but it's nice to be able to talk to people like you guys and just sort of air things out on a night when things obviously didn't go our way. How about you?
I was all right. I was just working. I was working like 3:30 to 9:30. I was like, well, I have a TV in my office, so I watch the game there too and work at the same time. So, I mean, just overall throughout the season, really, I felt like everybody doubted us and we just showed them up. We proved them wrong. And to make it that far, just to the playoffs at least, is a win in my book, just to look at the positive side. So.
Yeah, no, when you think of how many teams don't make the playoffs, just to get in is obviously something to be proud of. And, on a season, especially when there weren't high hopes for us, it's a good accomplishment. And, sets up some things for next year. But, every year is kind of a reset to a degree because you're always going to lose some guys and you're going to gain some new guys. And you hope the most important ones carry over. And, like Russell and Bobby Wagner, and you can kind of build around those guys and keep the rest of it going. But, yeah, I feel like this year was the defined by just a couple pieces, a couple plays, a couple calls off. And just weren't quite to that level, but just a little shy on multiple things. So maybe next year they can get the pieces that might put us over the top. But
yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure now that we've released some of these more expensive players, some of that contract or cap space is going to come back to us, and maybe we will be able to afford a few more moves that we couldn't have done, like last year. So, and we'll see. But not bad. Not bad when you consider all that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just we see and balance between that as well. If we can get that narrowed down, I believe we would be a top like 5 team at least, So I mean, it's just have to find your identity, And I liked the run game this year with Chris Carson, Mike Davis, all those guys, J.D. McKisson there too. I mean, it's just a different flow throughout but it worked. Like, nobody would think we would be the number 1 rushing team throughout the season, And so, like, obviously, just with that to keep in mind, obviously.
I mean, what a
like
difference
a really good start.
from last year. Last year, we only had 1 running back score a rushing touchdown. That was J.D. McKissick. The whole season.
Yep.
And Russell Wilson was our leading rusher. I mean, to go from that to this, where we got a 1,000-yard rusher, multiple 100-yard rushers, and the number 1 rushing team in the league. I mean, that's a huge turnaround, considering what the line that had been pretty much just completely just ripped up and down, and yet we have a lot of the same guys on the staff. Fetty is the same, Britt's the same, Dwayne Brown as of the middle part of last year. So it's not like they got a brand new line and did this. They did it with a lot of the same guys. So clearly, it wasn't just the players. It was the coaching and the system, and they changed all that. And look what it did. So, but yeah, it's not there, but it's getting there. So, a lot of things to be positive about. So,
absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Well, thanks for the call, man. And are you a extend Russell Wilson's contract guy?
Oh, absolutely. Like, what he's done with for this team is like extraordinary. Like when Russell Wilson came in, I mean, it was just like, it was unbelievable. Like, he's done a lot for this team, and like, he worked around with this team before himself, and that's what I really look at. Like, obviously, like, he's like a good mobile, like, quarterback as well. So like, you have those two in the mix, so it like really works out together. So
yeah.
He brings a good aspect to the team.
Yeah. Yes, no, I think I'd like to see him just be a Seahawk for life, play till he's too old, and then walk away with hopefully a couple more rings somewhere down the line. That would be the ideal scenario. But
that'd be nice.
Well, we'll see if it's in the cards. It's gonna be tough though. That NFC West. It's gonna be a tough
I'm gonna
division.
Pick out a game for next year. Yeah, I don't know what home game I'll go to next year, but I'll think about it.
All right.
Need to look into that.
That'd be cool. Well, let me know if you make it. We're gonna try to meet up, so that'd be awesome. All right. Well, thanks for the call, man.
I think we're playing New Orleans we're playing New Orleans at home, so maybe.
Oh, that should be good.
I think so. That'd be nice. I'll probably go to that one.
Yeah. There's a few good ones.
Anyways,
Carolina again. There's some good teams. It's like, man, you guys again? How the hell?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway. Well,
absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks for the call. Appreciate it, man. Go Hawks. All right. Couple more here. Let's go to the 573. You still there? Who's this? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Who's this?
This is Steve in Missouri. No, I just I got home, watched the game, and I was watching on YouTube. I wanted to see some reactions from Seattle Seahawks fans, and I seen you in the stadium and stuff, and then I started seeing your live stream and stuff, and I seen your video. I loved your music video. That was awesome.
The one that I did today with the Cowboys?
Yeah, when I watched that video, I looked at it and said, now here's a true football fan. He's not being trashing on anything. He had both sides of the view there at the end, and I just like, this guy's real cool. So I subscribed, and I've been watching you, been listening to you talk, and you really know football, and you know your team real good. And you know what? I mean, I think we think alike. You have nothing to be ashamed about tonight. I know where you are. I'm not. Trust me, I've watched football for over 42 years, and wow. I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm from Chicago.
Oh, so you are a Cowboy fan. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I knew tonight that our teams are kind of alike.
Very much.
Even the way the season starts out for both of the teams, I knew it was going to be a flip. It could have went either way. If I would have looked on your side of the view, I wouldn't blame them running the first 2 quarters like that. They should have run. Look at, I mean, that's what I would have wanted my team to do, But
yeah,
if I had any opinion on it, I think that after the first 2 quarters of running and it wasn't working, they should have let your quarterback loose a little more because my Cowboys secondary is kind of suspect, and I think you guys could have done done more. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know your team better than I do. I don't watch Seattle that much, but I mean, I just wanted to call. I've never called in on any show before, and I just thought you're a real cool dude and a real good football fan. You're kind of, I don't have no football fans around here. I'm the only one, so it's like if you wanted to hang with some football on Sunday with some friends, man, watching football, representing different teams. I think it's awesome, and I don't know. You're a pretty cool dude, and I just wanted to call in.
Well,
I know you're probably tired. You know, I watched my Cowboys go to 4 straight national conference championships with Danny White and lose all 4 of them. So let me tell you something. I know where you are.
Yeah, well, you've been watching. You've been watching football a long time. Same here.
Yeah. But I mean, it was a good game, and like I said, it could have went either way. You know, what's going to happen next week with my team? I don't know. I might be the same spot you know, but I'm just going to hope. That's all you can do, and it's always next year. So.
Right.
Your quarterback, Russell. I would keep your quarterback. He's not the fault, and he is a good guy. He's a game player. He's not gonna, not like a TO. That's well, let me loose. You know, he went with what it was. You know? So I appreciate your show. I liked it. Subscribed, and
thank you.
I just want to say, hey, better luck next year.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. You know, it's cool to have a Cowboy fan on here. I think you're the first and only Cowboy fan that's called in, so it's kind of nice to get your perspective. I agree. The two teams very much mirrored each other. It's almost really like staring at each other in the wall and looking at each other in the mirror, because both with strong running games, both with quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks. I think Russell's probably got a little bit more deep ball accuracy, but I agree. Your quarterback is a lot different echelon.
I think our quarterback, I know he had that awesome year at the beginning. The second year without, Zeke and stuff, this season. I mean, he started turning up, but still, I think it's going to be a couple more years. He's still more in development. I ain't giving up on him or anything like that. I mean, I wish he could do more, but he's doing what he can. You know what I'm saying?
He did a good job.
I'm good with that, but
well,
your quarterback, I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. You know, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. But I think he's still got some years left in him. And again, tonight, I don't think he lost that game. So, I mean, it's amazing how people look at football. They always want to look at certain things. I mean, it's just the way it was matched up tonight.
Yeah.
There's weak points and stuff, and there's strong points on each team.
Let me ask you something, because we talked a little bit, in and out of different conversations, but the officiating, there was a couple calls that I thought they missed on both sides. The KJ Wright interception, that was a very obvious penalty that they did not call. But there was a couple of those crucial ones down the stretch where the second KJ Wright pass interference, man, I thought that was really touch and go there. But what was your take on the officiating? I said that if we had found a way to win that game, the big story would have been they would have looked back at that interception and said, look at that call, that missed call that they didn't call pass interference. They'd be looking, just ripping that ref up and down for not throwing it and saying that was the turning point in the game. But I'm just curious, what was your take on the officiating tonight?
Well, I think what I seen, I look at it is that there was 2 bad calls and one on both sides. I mean, there was the one pass interference that you guys got, that we got a first down on. It was really suspect. But you remember that interception that you guys got off him? When your man slammed my man, he wasn't. I mean, I thought that was a pass interference before it turned into an interception. That's my opinion. You might look at it.
I agree. No, I was just saying I agree with that. It was pass interference.
It goes for, I think on the calls, when you see stuff like that, especially in the playoffs, I mean, I think the calls get so serious, you know what I'm saying? Even with the instant replay, you thought that would solve problems? No, it didn't. They'd get instant replay and still get it wrong. I don't know. And the way they changed the rules, I mean, they've put up like the wide receivers, back in the day when I watched football, when a receiver would jump up along the sideline to get the ball and the defense would hit him and shove him out of bounds before he touched the ground, that still was a catch. But now, that at that time is still better. Today, though, if you do that again, they're telling them to go ahead and tee off on them while they're in midair. Well, when they're up in the air like that and they get slammed in them ribs, you're telling these defensive guys to injure them receivers, because as long as their feet don't touch the ground, when they're on the sideline going up in the air for the ball, they're telling them to tee off on them. They're going to get hurt, and for what? So they don't they don't get their feet down, that's all that matters. So they don't get
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is definitely a change in the rule. That's not safety based. Yeah.
I don't know, there's certain rules. I don't know, this is the way I look at it over the years. I mean, there's some bad decisions and stuff. And as it goes from, I think they were pretty mild early, if you think about it. I think that a couple years back here, they were calling too many penalties. You know, they were getting really ridiculous. And I think that there was so much to think about that they were trying to lay back low. I think they get more laid back on the calls, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then the ones that do show up seem to be more, you go either way. So now, I don't think they can win or lose when it comes to officiating. I mean, like I said, I've seen the Cowboys that catch with Dez. I thought Dez caught that ball against Green Bay, but, you know, again, they changed the rules up. It's hard to even keep up with them anymore.
If he had made that catch this year, that would have been a good catch. They changed that whole complete survive the ground rule, so now you don't have to survive all that way. Same thing happened to Megatron for Johnson from the Detroit Lions. Similar thing. Remember, he caught a ball in the end zone, caught it a couple feet, and then he hits the ground and kind of drops it as he hits. It was totally like the Dez thing, and that was ruled an incomplete pass. I'm glad they fixed that because that was ridiculous back then. Because those are like, that's a catch, and then it just dropped out at the end. And so I'm glad they fixed that rule. This is what I would do if I were to make a couple of systematic changes in the NFL with replay and the calls. My first one would be, because they already have so many rules that are benefiting the offense, and the secondary has so few things you can do. If they're going to call, illegal contact or holding, I'm fine with that being a 5-yard penalty. I just don't think it should be an automatic first down. I think that just gives them so much. It's such a backbreaker because you could be 3rd and 22, and you get a grab and automatic first down. I'd make it 5, like an offside call. That would be one thing. I feel like they already got too many things going their way. And then I would make pass interference, because if you're going to make pass interference a spot foul, and let's say you throw the ball 75 yards and it's going to be a spot play down the field, I'd make that one reviewable, because if you're going to give them that kind of change the game type of yardage, let's make sure they get it right. I know it's going to slow the game down having more reviews, but man, on a play like that where it could change the game of one long pass that's called as pass interference, I'd want to make sure that's the right call, because, as we looked at it, there were some pass interferences here which probably one didn't get called that should have been called, and some that got called that maybe shouldn't have been called, and those change the game sometimes, So, while I'm not crazy about review,
definitely can. Yeah, I mean, I think tonight, if my opinion on the ref calls, I think they messed up on both sides, so I think kind of evened out. I don't think there was the impactor at the end. I think just like, it didn't help your kicker, getting hurt, and then when he that ending thing there, man, putting it up that far up. I thought when I first seen it, when he kicked it up so high, I was figuring, well, that their idea was to kick it up real high, and then your team's just going to run down there and try to catch it, jump up and fight for the ball or something. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen that done before. I've just seen it usually they just kick it to the left, a couple yards, and then boom,
Yeah. I don't know. That thing didn't have a chance. I mean, it wasn't high enough. It was too deep. I mean, we had no chance to get into that thing. I don't know. It's not really his job to kick onside kicks, but that certainly didn't have any hope whatsoever. But it's also become harder to do onside kicks since they changed the kickoff rules, because the players can't get a run up. They can't run and get that momentum. They have to start from a standing position. So that gives the receiving team more advantage. You don't have to worry about those guys charging at you full bore with the ball bouncing in the air. So that's changed the success rate of onside kicks. I'm actually frustrated probably the most about kickoffs in general, because the kickoffs were one of my favorite plays. Just the fact that the chance of a run back is exciting, and two teams running full blast at each other. And they basically, made it to where you rarely see a kick return, maybe a couple times a game, and that's it. And it used to be some of the more exciting, game-tilting plays, and now it's kind of a thing of the past. But so that sucks.
I think you'd enjoy football if you'd have watched it back in my day, man. I mean, football was really these today football players. I don't think could have played back in.
Oh yeah,
they're a lot more healthy, a lot faster and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But man, back in them days, I mean.
Well, I have.
It was more just you do it.
Well, I have some news for you, man. I've been watching football as long as you have, so we're not that far apart in age. Well, I get that, but no, one of the first games I watched, Super Bowl, oh gosh, whichever one, it was Dallas versus Pittsburgh in 1970.
Yeah, 1978. That was my first Super Bowl.
So you and I have been watching the same game.
11 or something like that.
Yeah, I was a little bit younger than that, but not by much. So anyway, point being is I remember the old days. I remember one of the days of what a hospital pass meant something, because you don't throw hospital passes anymore because you can't do that anymore. Basically, for you youngsters out there, a hospital pass is where the quarterback throws a high lobbing pass to a receiver across the middle, and he's basically setting him up to go to the hospital, because basically that receiver goes for that ball. Some linebacker is going to put him in the hospital catching a pass that leaves the receiver exposed. Well, now you can't do that because the rules protect the receivers from that exact thing. So now the fear of going across the middle doesn't exist because you can't do it anymore. So again, so many rules favor the offense, protecting players and safety. I understand all that, but it's also made it very hard to be a defensive back and linebacker trying to cover these guys because they're fast. And now you can go across the middle and not be afraid, because for the most part, you really can't do much to them. So, I feel like it's been too much.
I do have a question for you, though. I was going to ask you your opinion, what you thought about, you know how they have the 4 games as the preseason? Due to one injury can really hurt a team, especially if it's one of your stars. And them 4 preseason games, even though they're supposed to be lining you up to get ready for the season, it's just not worth it. You could lose the season just on an injury in the preseason. Well, if they would cut down 2 of the games in the preseason, maybe, and add it to the season, so at least if they did get hurt in the season, it was
at least counted for something,
value,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I used to hate preseason. Preseason was like the worst for me before, and I used to just want to get rid of it completely. But then I also understand they got to also figure out what they got in their players. So, it's also...
No, yeah, I understand that, yeah.
Well,
that's why I say 2 games at least. I mean, I guess it takes 4 maybe, but if we cut 2 of them out and add them to the season and just let all your, I guess the ones that you want to check out, let them play full games. I don't know. I guess you got to warm up your vets too, though, but...
Yeah, but then
Cowboys are young, man. My team's young, okay, and you guys are, you're kind of rebuilding too, to a extent. You're going to lose some people maybe because of salary reasons or something, I mean, each year you do just a little. I mean, but I know that you'll have to. I mean, my team had to sacrifice a couple seasons anyways to get that offensive line lined up, and it looks like your team's going to become a running team, a solid running team, so they should be only worrying about that offensive line, and you already got a quarterback, okay? I mean.
Right.
Looks like you're going to need a new kicker, maybe. I think he's going to be retiring, but that's my opinion on that.
Yeah, no, I think...
I couldn't believe when I seen him, man. And I was like, damn, I feel bad for him, man, because, I mean, I think he was probably, he wanted to go out, go to the Super Bowl this year, and he was going to retire probably anyways. He's pretty old, ain't he?
40 years old, man. It's catching up to us.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's retiring age right there.
Yeah. No, it's that may have been his last kick, his last missed kick, as it turns out to be. But I don't know. Not good for a guy his age, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, he tore the hamstring on his kicking leg. That's never a good sign. But anyway, yeah, man, it's fun to reminisce a little bit about this. I usually, when I talk on this channel, I usually talk to a lot of people who are definitely quite a few years younger than me. So it's nice to actually speak with somebody who remembers the good old days, with football, how it used to be played.
And I just want to tell you, man, I know how you feel about tonight, man, but let me tell you something, man. A couple days will get by, and, hey, get all ready for next season. There's always a new season, man. That's never over with.
Oh, yeah, don't worry. I'm not going to do anything stupid. I plan to be around next year.
I didn't think you would. I mean,
hey, man, if I could survive Super Bowl 49.
I'm glad I'm subscribed, and I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on your live streams and stuff like that, too. I mean, I'm watching on my PS4. I don't use my phone too much, but
that's
get
right.
on things. But
I appreciate it. It's always nice to hear from someone who's just discovered me and and appreciates what I do. So it's also good to talk to. There's a lot of trolls and trash talkers from other teams in here, which I welcome them. As long as they don't cross the line.
Yeah,
but, it's friendly banter.
I understand that, but the last thing I want to do is come in There's no reason for that. I don't like it. Why would I expect you to like it? I mean, it's just, I don't know. I guess that's a younger generation to look at it. You know what I'm saying? Talk smack and come in and talk. Me myself, it's, you know, I could picture us, man, go for 5 straight years watching our teams, man, together, man, side by side, and play each other, win and lose, and just go on. You know what I mean? Just, you know, this. I think it's just more we love the sport, you know, and
yeah, we just like to watch we like to watch good football, and preferably our own teams playing good football. But even when it's other teams playing a good game, you know, it's just so fun to watch, you know. So you just hope that your team can just be competitive and just be in every game, which is what we got this year. For as far as the Seahawks were concerned, every game was within one score, which means we could have lost a bunch of those games, and we could have won more of those games. But I think we were right on the edge. But I can't complain too much. You know, it really was.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, you represent the Seattle Seahawks. If I looked at fans for football teams, you definitely show that Seattle Seahawks fans are a lot better than the Philadelphia Eagle fans. I hate them Eagle fans, man. They're fucking idiots.
Well, you guys are the same division, so I know how bad that trash talking can go. But yeah, it's it gets pretty heated with you guys, but I find it pretty entertaining. But yeah, Philadelphia fans, I don't know if I'd ever go there, man. I hear they're pretty crazy over there, but
I mean, if they're going to throw snowballs at Santa, man, at the game, I don't know. I mean, that's pretty bad and low.
It's usually a few people who just make it look bad for everybody else. I remember in the 49er championship game in 2013 when the linebacker, name's escaping me right now, but he got carted off the field, and somebody was throwing popcorn as he was getting pulled out into the tunnel. And I hear from 49er fans all the time saying, Seahawks fan base is terrible. They're throwing popcorn at our injured player. I was like, that was probably one jerk in the stadium doing it. Doesn't mean he represents the entire fan base. You know what I mean? Usually that's what it is. One person spoils it for the rest of us. So.
I understand. I don't know. I guess you're right. You know, it's just a rival team, and there's so much smack talk between the Cowboy and the Eagles.
Oh, big
you
time.
should have your own rival. You know what I mean there. I mean, but,
yeah. But you guys go a long way back.
Though Dallas has not just got rival teams; they got rival teams all around the NFL. I mean, it's just like, you know, you love them or you hate them. There's no in between about it. Okay, I mean, some of these people out there just, I mean,
there's certain teams though that you can't really get hate, like the Tennessee Titans. All right, it's hard to really. There's no, because they're new, but you don't have the history. You don't have the history of, you know, all these long, history of teams spoiling each other's thing. It's like the Titans, you just think of them and there's kind of this sort of lukewarm sort of, response to them when you think of them. I think Patriots, blood boils. I think Steelers, Super Bowl 40, blood boils. I think the 49ers.
I tell you, the New England Patriots, I'm a Cowboy fan and I don't like the Eagles. I hate the Patriots more than any team in the NFL, and that's just not because they've been to the Super Bowl or anything like that. You know, it's just that me myself, I look at that if they're such a great team and they got great talent, why do they keep cheating? I don't know. I
think everybody hates the Patriots. The only people that don't hate the Patriots are Patriots fans. We're just sick of seeing them in there. It's like, if I have to see them again in the Super Bowl, it's like, give me a freaking break. I'm tired of that movie. I want somebody else in there just a change of pace. You know, let's see the Colts in there with Andrew Luck just for grins.
Someday.
No, actually, I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool if the Chargers get in there. I said it earlier because Phillip Rivers is one of those quarterbacks who just has never caught a break. He's always been a bad luck when they try to get in the postseason, lose. Just seem to be the ultimate one of those choke teams, and he deserves better. One shot at least, because he's a great quarterback and he's getting old. He's getting past that point.
Well, I know. I mean, I've seen some good quarterbacks go their whole career and not get nothing. Dan Marino.
Joe Marino, exactly. Marino on his ass.
Well, they should have had it and never did. Well, I'll tell you what. I know you got some calls you're trying to knock out, man, and stuff, but I really appreciate your everything about you, man. You're a pretty cool dude. They'll be next year. I'm definitely going to watch your chats. I love that video. Hope you make more videos. That's pretty cool.
I've definitely got more coming for sure. But good luck the rest of the way. Good luck the rest of the way. Even though I really don't like to root for the Cowboys, now that I've met one cool fan, I guess there's one less cell in my body that's hoping the worst for the Cowboys. So hopefully you guys can do some damage and upset, do at least one upset in the next round. See what happens. It'll make us feel better because we can go, hey, well, see, Dallas Cowboys, they are pretty good, so I guess I don't feel so bad about losing to them. So, anyway, it's good talking to you, Steve.
If we win next week and you're still doing live streams, man, I'm going to jump on and say, hey, remember me?
That's right. All right, well, I expect this isn't the last time I hear from you. So, thanks for calling, and it's been great having you.
All right. Good night.
All right. Good night. All right. This is Vanessa, by the way. Somebody said, what's up, Sophia? This is Vanessa. All right, let's just get two more because I got to wrap this up. It's been a long night. Let's go to the 512. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Hello, this is Nathan calling from Atlanta.
Nathan from Atlanta. Man, you are up late. It's like, what, almost 4 in the morning out there? It is 4 in the morning out there.
Yeah,
Holy
no,
cow.
I mean, just kind of a late night. I mean, I usually work pretty late, so I'm kind of used to being up this late.
I mean, it just blows my mind that somebody would be up till 4, waiting an hour to get on to call in on my live stream here. It's crazy, but anyway.
Well, that's also the thing because I'm actually a really huge fan of you, Norb. I watched
thanks.
a lot of your videos. Really just like. I like watching your music videos, especially your season prediction videos, and I also I really like watching these videos that you do, where you do analysis on the teams and all that. I mean, I've always wanted to do one of these call-ins. Problem is that you're always doing it on Wednesday, and that Wednesday usually, and that's usually when I'm at work, so never really got a chance to do one of these call-ins.
Well, it's funny. The problem is now it's getting harder for me to do those Wednesdays because my girls are at the peak of volleyball now, and they got practices multiple nights now, so it's hard to find nights to do it. So I did this one starting this thing at 10 o'clock my time, thinking, man, no one's going to call in because everyone's going to be asleep and in bed. I'm like, you guys are die hard crazy, man, because you guys are calling in 4 in the morning. I never expected that. But anyway, so what's your thoughts on this? And are you a Seahawks fan?
Yes.
You are a Seahawks fan. Okay, all right. Got to always check.
Yeah, I've been a fan since it's actually kind of an interesting story, but just to cut a long story short, I don't know if this will, be a bit of an annoyance to some of the people out there, but I'm from Alabama, and I was born in Alabama, and I've been a Crimson Tide fan, pretty much Alabama Crimson Tide for college ball ever since I was born. And way back when I was 4 or 5 years old, my favorite player who was playing at Alabama. So basically, my first favorite football player ever was Sean Alexander.
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to follow him into the NFL because my parents didn't have an NFL team. And
that's what led you to the Seahawks?
Yep, he got picked up, and he played there for 7 or 8 years, I think, and even when he left, my whole thing is like, I've become so attached to this team, can't walk away from that. So, that whole thing. So, but yeah, just to go back to your original question, my thoughts on the season. I guess, really, I'd say that this playoff game that just happened was a kind of a microcosm of the whole season, where we had the opportunities there to, take control because our defense was playing pretty good, stopping Dallas. It's just, we let the opportunities get away from us, weren't really able to capitalize on them much, and just kind of, let it get away from us. I think we could have won that game, and I think we're a lot better than this game demonstrated us to be, and I think we're a little bit better than our record shows, but I mean, really, I'm just kind of optimistic for the future because, I think we got a good foundation to build a potential Super Bowl team, on in the next couple of years.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a glass half full way of looking at it. I feel the same way, because, the difference between winning and losing has been a razor's edge, meaning that You
Yeah.
know, we're only one player, maybe one big play away from changing those things. And who knows, maybe that person's waiting in the draft next year, or maybe free agency next year. Or maybe we have him. Maybe he's Will Dissly, and we're losing him at the beginning of the year. You know, just changed the course of what he could have contributed. You know, so
Yep.
you know, so many things that you know, are possibilities. But you know, they've done a lot this year, a lot more than any of us could have expected. So, you know, I'm pumped about it for sure. Andrew Killian with the super chat. Thanks for your contribution. I appreciate it. But yeah.
I did have a question for you,
Yeah.
just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's likely if this actually happens, especially since she's showing some more attention to the Niners, but you've been talking a lot about Russell Wilson getting like that big wide receiver target that he can throw the ball to.
Yeah.
And it's kind of become well known that Antonio Brown isn't really all that happy with the Steelers. Do you think we should make a run to like maybe trade for him? I mean, I'm kind of iffy on that because he's not exactly the best team player, but I'm just thinking about his potential.
Antonio Brown, it represents the diva. There should be a picture of him next to diva in the dictionary, at least as far as wide receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah. The question is, would he be worth the price and the headache that would come with getting somebody like him?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's possible then in a locker room like this that this could be one of those places where maybe, you know, he could actually, you know, flourish and have a locker room that sort of handles that type of personality. But I don't know. I don't know if it'd be worth the risk, man. I mean, that's a lot of that. I'm thinking about we draft somebody like that and you know, bring him in from the ground up, but to, you know, bring someone like that in is going to be a lot of money, a lot of headache, and you don't even know if he doesn't gel. It could be a nightmare, you know. So I don't know. I feel like staying away from those guys because, you know, we've had some guys who had some, you know, who've been great players, and the attitude starts to come out there. And we've seen the blow-ups on the sidelines that aren't necessarily good for the team. So, you know, you got to have some guys have a little bit of their ego checked at the door. And he's got one big hurricane ego, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
yeah, I'd have to agree with that because and he's also getting a bit older. I think he's like 30 years old now. So, yeah, I mean, that's not exactly the age where wide receivers are expected to get better and better. So,
Right. 30 is that magic number where if speed and agility and all that is one of their tools, they tend to get dull after rounding the corner at 30 years old. So, yeah, I know. I've been hearing a lot about the drama that unfolded with Pittsburgh and Antonio Brown, you know, walking out of practice, and I was just like, man, that's just bad. This is bad news. So
yeah, like if you want a good representation of what the Steelers this season has been like, there's this guy on YouTube called Urinating Tree who he's a Steelers fan, but he doesn't like what the team is like, and he makes all these videos like where he's basically parodying Days of Our Lives, but he calls it Days of Our Steelers. It's really hilarious, actually. Like,
there's a lot of drama in that locker room between Big Ben and Antonio Brown, and then that whole thing with their running back, Le'Veon Bell holding out. I mean, talk about just you know, it's bad enough on the field to have all this stuff to deal with, but yeah, crazy. That's pretty funny. Luckily, that's one thing we don't have to deal with, or not anymore at least. This has been a pretty quiet, you know, other than the Earl Thomas thing, which pretty much ended once he got injured. It's been a pretty quiet locker room. So, anyway.
But I would agree though that we should try to aim for a big wide receiver in the draft. Do you think we should use our? We have a first round pick, but we don't have a second round pick going into this season. Do you think we should use the first rounder on a big wide receiver, or?
Well, I think it'd be cool to be kind of gambling a little bit, but I have a feeling that we'll probably trade down and get more picks. That's just the typical, you know, Schneider thing, Schneider-Carroll thing to do. Yeah. Oh, Hans Kaduri on the super chat. Wow, nice contribution. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'd love to see them do it just because it'd be exciting to see if they can get somebody really amazing in the first round. But then again, we haven't had great luck with our first-round draft picks. Maybe that's been better that they trade down because it seems like most of our gold comes from the second, third, and fourth rounds. And the first round is look at our first-round picks. We got 2 years ago. We had what's his name? The ATV guy.
Malik McDowell.
Malik McDowell. I mean, he didn't even play a snap. Wasted a first-round pick on him.
Yeah.
Rashad Penny last year, not a waste, but certainly didn't live up to first first
and when
round.
you think about it, like
levels.
Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor were both 5th round picks.
Right,
so.
exactly. So they
Yeah.
seem to do better with the lower rounds than the firsts. So maybe they trade down, get a couple more, and they pick up a receiver in the 2nd round. I don't know. Just I feel like it'd be nice to spend an early draft pick on a receiver, and not wait till like the 7th round, which they did with David Moore. He was the 7th round pick.
Yep.
So not bad for a 7th rounder, but what could they do with maybe somebody in the 2nd round? You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens, but that'll be another discussion as the draft, we get to the off season. But anyway, yeah.
Well, I know it's late, so
yeah.
I mean, one other thing I wanted to bring up before I let you go, I was even though I'm in Atlanta, I was there's a chance that I might actually be flying out to Seattle sometime this year to see one of the 2019 games. So
cool.
if I actually get a chance to do that, I'm hoping I can
reach out, man.
actually meet you in person, because it would be a big honor, man.
I try to do that anytime somebody reaches out to me and they're going to a game. I try to arrange some kind of a meetup. Did that last week with a couple of people, so it was great to be able to spend some time and hang out. So
would
for
I
sure.
contact you through the Facebook page or something?
Oh, you could message me here, or Facebook is a great way to do it too. Facebook Messenger, and just send me a message and we'll hook it up that way. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's good to know. I'm trying to go to 2 games because I'm trying to go to one here because there's actually the Seahawks are coming
play
down
Atlanta.
here to Atlanta. And, so yeah, I'm hoping to go to that game. Obviously wearing Seahawks gear, so yeah,
Right.
I'm probably gonna have a huge target on my head before that game. But
the Atlanta fans are okay.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Well, good luck.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Really nice
we'll
talking
see
to
you
you, man.
next year. All right. Thanks, Nathan.
Really nice talking to you. Thank
Take
you.
it easy. Go Hawks. All right, I'm going to do my last call here because it's time to wrap things up. And I'm going to go with the one who's been hanging on the longest. I got to go with Jonathan over in Kansas. Is this Jonathan? You still there? Jonathan, you there? Hello? Hello? Jonathan. Pick up your phone. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, there he is. Jonathan, right?
Yeah.
You're on. I know you've been waiting for a super long time. I think you're going to be my last caller, man. So I just wanted to see what's on your mind.
Well, Norb, I was actually pretty excited for this game, but disappointed at the end.
Yeah, I think all of us were. I don't think anybody was really happy with how things turned out, knowing we've probably left some points on the board.
Yeah.
Maybe didn't swing, for the fences. But
to be honest, I really, I think our offense did a decent job, but I really, in my opinion, those 2 flags in a row really killed us.
they did. The 2 previous, too, when
Because we had
also did us in.
Yeah.
But yes, those were.
But I also think we should have did more passing.
That seems to be the common takeaway from this game, is that we didn't let loose and let Russell be Russell and just try to sling the ball around. That seems to be what it'll be interesting to see how they handle questions in the media come next week. I'm sure they'll be asked about that and see what the response is, because it did feel like they did not veer from the game plan. It stuck too much to the original script and didn't adjust. But it was a close game.
I was watching a press conference and it was talking about. Yeah, I was watching a press conference and Russell was talking about how this the 2018 team is like his 2012 team, and then next year they go to the Super Bowl, and he's kind of like joking about that, thinking maybe next year we'll go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little earlier exit than that 2012 team. We got to the divisional round, but it feels like it has the makings of that for sure. So, I like it. That gut feel is correct. It certainly is a nice framework for where we could take this thing next year. But it's a good start for sure. Just
what is your thought about the?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's about with the Thomas situation. Do you think
have
we made the best decision of just kind of?
Oh, the Earl. Did you say Earl Thomas situation?
Yeah, I'm really curious about that.
And real quick in the super chat, Andrew, thank you for your support your contribution there. He wants to know would there be talk sometime. Is there gonna be another stream? Yeah, I'll do one next week. I got to figure out a time that works. Schedule's been a little tricky with practices and all that. But thanks for being part of this, and to everybody who's been in the on the chat and calling in. Your question about the Earl Thomas situation. It's unfortunate to think that two of our secondary who were Pro Bowlers and All Pro walked away from the team, and we got nothing for it. Some of it was unfortunate injuries and timings with the contracts, and sometimes you can't help that. But normally you'd think if a guy was going to, leave of that caliber, you'd get something in return and not just walk off into the sunset, with nothing to show. Just bad luck. So, the Earl Thomas thing, it was too bad that they couldn't get it, they had to come to that. I understand Seattle's why they didn't pay him the big money, especially after what they did signing Cam Chancellor's contract, which basically didn't work out for them because due to the injury, and they kind of lost out on that one. So maybe the second time around they were thinking, maybe we need to play this differently because that didn't work out so well for him. And then when Earl got hurt, it's almost maybe confirmation that, well, maybe we made the right call, because imagine if they'd re-signed him to a deal, a week before, and then he's out for the season. That wouldn't be a good start to a contract extension. So it's just too bad that guys who were basically the bedrock of the defense that got us to 2 Super Bowls and, kind of got us off the ground in terms of the start of our run of postseason appearances had to end on such a bad note, with Earl Thomas flipping off the team and on a stretcher leaving the field.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
a terrible way to finish a career, and hopefully in the end he's going to end up in the Ring of Honor and come back and be, happy, good graces for the team and all that stuff. And he's an emotional guy, and I know that, so totally understand where he was coming from in terms of, because the guy likes to play, so I think sitting out just wasn't something he could do. But I'm sure it's frustrating for him too as well, because that affected what he'll be able to do next year. And but on the flip side, he still got paid for a full season of his last year with the team, and even though he got hurt, he still got paid for that. So it wasn't like he completely lost out. He still got his end of the deal. So it's a business, and there's no getting around that. Unfortunately, it's just sometimes it doesn't work out for both sides. But I like them, and unfortunately, you just can't pay everybody. Otherwise, we see what happens. You just run out of money, and then all of a sudden, you're just hamstrung. So, but yeah, Earl Thomas was great. For a long time, when we'd ask who's the most important part of Legion of Boom, I think Earl Thomas was always the clear, you got to have Thomas before everybody else. Everybody else fit around him perfectly, but he was the cog that kind of made everything else work. But it's just weird how quickly we have to turn the page and move along, to the next set of guys. But I don't know, it'll be interesting to see where he goes next. There's talk about him reuniting with Sherman in San Francisco. I don't know if that's just rumor or whatever.
Ugh.
Yeah, I hate to see that twice a year. But yeah, so we'll see what happens there.
What are your thoughts about the Antonio Brown might be trading? And would you think it'd be pretty interesting if he went on this team? Not saying that we need him, but
we just had a question about that in the last conversation. I just think the cost and the headache potentially of getting somebody like that, the Percy Harvin experiment kind of thing, might just be way too much to try to inherit. I'm thinking we just go high draft, try to get somebody, through the draft who might be got that potential to be a big play receiver might be the way to go. But I don't know if we want that headache, man. We've been down that road, and it's just not worth it. You can hamstring the team with a bad investment, and then next thing you know, you're with a guy who's a cancer inside the locker room. And Percy Harvin, while I'm glad he was there for Super Bowl 48, what happened the following year was just a nightmare. So, yeah, I wouldn't do it. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for the call, man. I'm going to wrap this up right here. All right, what was your last question?
I was just saying, what are your thoughts about like the new coaches? What do you think they need to improve? I mean, I personally think they're way better than Bevel and the other guy. I forgot his name.
Tom Cable, right?
Tom
or
Cable.
Are you talking about the defensive coordinator? I mean, they fired everybody last year. No, I was Ken Norton Jr.'s D coordinator. I thought, did fine. They got to shore up some things, but I think overall has been good. The offense going from no rushing to just the best is a good sign for the offensive line coach and for the offensive coordinator. I thought that is good, and hopefully they can just learn to adjust to get a little more creative on the offense, not be too one-dimensional.
Yeah, I heard someone said Schottenheimer should get fired.
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised how much they're ready to just one bad game where we lose in the playoffs, they're ready to fire everybody. I think that's a little crazy, a little overreaction.
That's kind of the Seahawks. When we're in your chat, someone's like, fire Schottenheimer, fire Pete Carroll. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I know. That's
crazy.
Have you forgotten what they've done in 1 year? They've done a lot of good things, and we have one game that maybe they didn't play it perfectly, but they were only one play away, so it's not like it was a terrible game. But so anyway, I'd keep them at least one more year and see how it goes next year, and make sure this wasn't a fluke, and make sure that it carries through. But yeah, I'd go one more year. It was a good season overall, so I don't think anybody should get fired. So hopefully, anyway, Cracker Jack Bones, you look tired. I am tired. Anyway, I'm gonna call it a night here, guys. But hey, Jonathan, it's good to hear from you. We'll do another talk about this, and we'll keep the lines of communication on as the Seattle Seahawks go into the free agency time period. But that was good though. This was therapeutic for me to just get a few thoughts from everybody else and to get off the loss with air a few things out. Sounds like everybody has the same kind of reaction. But
you know what? I'm gonna be calling it Super Bowl champs next year probably.
Hey, that would be pretty sweet. We'll see what happens. But hey, we overachieved last year. Maybe next year it'll be something else. So, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for calling, man. We'll talk soon. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
All right. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry I couldn't get to all you. I did my best, but got to call it a
Goodbye.
night. Say, goodbye, phone lady. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for hanging in there, guys. This was good. I'm really surprised. Actually, this makes me think, man, I could probably do some late nighters more often because sometimes it's hard to do it earlier in the day. But you guys you guys are committed. I appreciate that. So anyway, we'll move on from this loss. Look forward to next year, but there'll be plenty of stuff to do in the meantime. So I plan to continue to have more of these, and we can talk Seahawks as long as you guys will have it. So, all right, thanks, guys. Appreciate you being there. We'll do this again. Talk to y'all later. Have a good night. And as always, go Hawks. Say bye.
Bye.